What is poppin', my people? My name is Carl.
I'm Seamus.
What up, what up? My name is Max. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week.
Episode 37, hold us accountable.
Here we go.
It's gonna be a good one.
Got a good show coming. Seamus, what are you thinking?
Woo-wee.
Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. Episode 37. Can't wait to get into it.
Motherfuckers.
Let's
go.
do it.
Thank you for tuning in. I know your time is valuable. There's thousands of other podcasts that you could have settled for, but now you're just vibing with two goofy dudes from Wisconsin.
Shout out everybody on YouTube.
Three goofy dudes from Wisconsin.
Three goofy dudes.
Three.
Shout out Deca Pollinari.
Shout out Shamo.
And Maximilian, turn me up a little bit on them headphones.
This is Hold Us Accountable.
Oh, yeah.
This is Hold Us Accountable.
Like Deca Pollinari said, this is Hold Us Accountable, episode 37.
Woohoo! 37, man.
Hey, man, we're getting old.
Look at us. We're doing it.
Getting
We're doing
up
it.
there.
We're
Getting up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is episode 37 of Hold Us Accountable.
Hell yeah. And here at Hold Us Accountable, we like to take on new challenges every month.
Every week.
And new personal goals every week. Do little weekly challenges. We'll get on the ones and twos and talk to you about it a little bit, how we're doing. Talk about life, mental health, Packer talk, beer. Yeah, thank you for listening and tuning in. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead, rate, review. That'd be great. If you do want to just help out the show in general, just kind of spread the word on social media. If you see a post from us, give it a share, give it a like, give it a comment, show us some love. Anything helps the show. And with that being said,
everybody crack open a beer because the suds are flowing. I'm thirsty. My liver's crying for help, ladies and gentlemen.
So thirsty. Let's do
Episode
it.
37, beer of the motherfucking week. Yeah.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, crack it open. Let's get frisky. Maximilian Seamus Johnson.
I like
Let's
beer
go with
'cause
it.
It is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing,
I drink
sing
it and beer you bring.
I drink beer when I am sad.
Yeah.
'Cause the beer, it makes me
Glad.
glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
Let's fucking get fucked up.
I like ads because they are great.
Yeah, holy shit. Ladies and
Heyo.
gentlemen. Hey, thank you, Seamus
Beer of the
Johnson,
week.
for bringing the beer of the week.
Yes, sir.
Fuck.
We got
Yeah.
Black Rock's 51K IPA. And I've had this before out of Marquette, Michigan. It is a tasty treat.
It looks good, man. It's always caught my eye in the stores. I've seen it multiple times, but never have gotten around to trying it out.
You know, a memory that sparks in my head when I drink this beer is one, and this is totally random. One time I'm longboarding down the Fox River Trail, looking like a degenerate, probably a dart hanging out of my mouth, and I got a 51K IPA in my hand, and I drive by this old man bikes past me, and he stops and looks back and yells at me. He's like, 51K! And I'm like, what?
He
And
knows.
then he's like, your beer? And I'm like, 51K!
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So, yeah.
He knows.
So, let me tell you a little bit about the Black Rocks Brewery. In 2010, David and Andy were looking down the barrel of economic downsizing in their industry. Looking at it as an opportunity instead of a problem, the two set out to take their basement hobby to a new level. The dream of an all-home brews to go legit and open a commercial brewery presented itself as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The two agreed upon a nano brewery, IBBL Brewhouse. Although they were hopeful it would be well received, they had no idea the amount of interest the locals had for the craft beers. Along the way, they found and hired some of the most awesome people to bring the brewery all together. Black Rock still brews beer at the original pub on 3rd Street, as well as a 20 BBL production system in Marquette. Two key ideas fuel Black Rocks on a day-to-day basis. Always make the best beer possible and always have fun while doing it.
Hell yeah.
Damn straight.
Damn.
Straight.
Hey, man, this is a good beer, too.
Hey, cheers,
is a good
boys.
beer.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas. God, Io could take a page or two from Michigan's playbook.
Yeah, Max
yeah.
came to the
Brewing
show with a
beer.
lot of harsh feelings about old Iowa.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. We'll get into that later. But what are we rating this delicious, delicious hoppy beer on?
I mean, we are coming off of a Packer preseason game.
Ayo.
Maybe Packer backup quarterbacks.
Oh, I love it.
We've had
Jordan love it.
Yeah, we had. Oh, that was nice, dude. I mean, we've had Tim Boyle, Matt Flynn, Matt Hasselback. We've had Vince Young. We've had
Seneca Wallace. We've had Doug Peterson, Mark Brunell, Kurt Warner, Aaron Brooks.
God,
I mean, we can
dude.
go way back.
We had a fucking lineup. Aaron Rodgers used to be
Aaron
a backup.
Rodgers was a backup at one point. Yeah, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
We've had Brian Brom.
Brian. Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Who was Brom? Wasn't he like...
He was a second-round pick out of Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
I think it was the year after we drafted Rodgers.
Yeah.
The next year we drafted Brom in the second round and Matt Flynn in the 7th round, and Matt Flynn beat out Brom.
I feel like there's a couple more backups, but I don't know.
Who was our backup quarterback that took the Eagles to the Super Bowl? Right?
Took the Eagles?
Because after he traded, right?
No, Matt Flynn went to the Seahawks.
Oh yeah, okay.
But he got beat out by Russell Wilson.
Right.
Taysom Hill was a Packer.
He was
He started with Green Bay.
Did he start?
Yeah, he was an undrafted free agent.
He started. I thought you said
BYU.
I thought you were saying he started.
Oh no, he got his start. Yeah,
and he's fighting for a starting quarterback job right now down there in New Orleans.
Right, dude, isn't it? It's crazy. There is an undrafted quarterback, and the first pick overall in the draft, with the Buccaneers, are fighting for a quarterback, the starting job. Like, it's crazy.
Jameis Winston was the first.
He was the first pick in the draft, and then
to the Vikings. That was the Vikings.
To the Buccaneers, and then the.
He was originally drafted by the Bucs.
Yeah, and then I think the Titans drafted Marcus Mariota second overall.
I'm not mistaken that. Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm thinking of who was the Teddy Bridgewater. I was thinking. Not Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Teddy B went 31 or 32.
Did Jameis Winston ever travel out of Tampa Bay, or has he been there since?
I think. Well,
because he's been in the league for
6 years.
He was at Florida State, right?
Florida State won a natty.
Yeah.
I think he went like his last year with Tampa. He threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. He was 30. He was in
like
the 30-30
like a
club.
Brett Favre in his later years kind of year.
Yeah, and I think he also had like almost 5,000 yards passing or something crazy. He had a crazy passing yard.
Hey, he just got LASIK though. Now he can see.
Now he can see.
Yeah, so he's on point. So, while you guys think about your backups, I'm gonna short little background behind this beer. I'm actually gonna read the can first, and then I'll read a little bit about what they say on the website about 51K IPA. So we at Black Rocks Brewery are proud to call Marquette, Michigan our home. Our name is inspired by the Black Rocks located just north of our town, where natives and visitors have gathered to enjoy Lake Superior for generations. We love beer. You love beer. Let's get together. Yeah. 51K IPA. Here's to leaving it all on the trail, but please recycle the can. A little bit about the 51K IPA by the Black Rocks Brewery. Bursting hops all over your face. Our American IPA is full of earthy grapefruit, apricot, and piney hop flavors and aromas with a nice balance, yet a dry finish. The style of the beer is an American IPA. The ABV is 7%. Woof.
These are sevens?
Wowzers. Yes,
All right.
sir, indeed.
All right.
The IBU is 68. Availability year-round. Pairs well with pasty and ketchup. It's what it says. Pairs well with pasties and ketchup.
So, I see. I'm not trying to make fun. It's a pasty.
pasty?
A pasty is
Is that like bread with shit
with like
in it?
meat and potatoes and cabbage and corn or not corn.
You can make fun of
carrots.
me if you want, man.
No,
I'm
it does look
pasty and
it does
mispronouncing
look like
pasty.
pasty. I don't.
Fucking pasties, all right.
It's a pasty.
All right,
So pasties are big in Michigan. It's a big Michigan thing.
Oh, big Michigan thing. They like their shit crammed in bread.
At least in the UP, where I believe this beer
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, Marquette.
Marquette.
Yeah,
Up in
yeah.
the
So in
UK.
the UP, the pasties are big.
All right. It smells. It smells good.
You haven't
And-
had it? Oh, you've already
Yeah, I
had
have.
this. Yeah.
I mean, for a potent beer, it's pretty easy drinking.
oh
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why it's a little dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yo,
dude,
what is it? 7%?
It is.
Yeah, 7%.
That's a tasty.
tasty.
51K IPA is a good tasting beer.
Did you
Good beer.
Did you tell them about that part of the sales go to trail maintenance and recreational?
No,
trail? Yeah.
man. A portion of our sales from 51K will support the building and maintenance of recreational trails. I like that. So just go and buy these all day, every day. Hike the Black Rocks, do a 51K, and drink an IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to at least try it, whether you're hiking or not. This is good. If
It's
you're
good beer.
if you're an IPA drinker, even if you're not, just give it a shot. You
And
know
I
what
think
I'm
that's
saying?
why my memory of that guy like biking past me, he was like your stereotypical mountain biker, like fucking one of the whites who wears the spandex while he's biking and shit.
Going
You
all
know,
out,
like
yeah.
when he said that, I looked at the can and I'm like, yeah, that fucker would drink this. You know, makes sense. All right, Packer backups.
Trying to find like a good list here. Although, like DuckDuckGo is sometimes great, but sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, I'm not too
What's
familiar.
DuckDuckGo?
Not too familiar with backup quarterbacks, but I have an idea that I'm.
Let me. I'm just gonna look
I
up.
got. I got an idea that I got.
Instead of doing preseason, let me do. Whoops. Oh, Matt Hasselbeck would have been. Did you say that one?
Yeah. I keep forgetting that the Vince Young played for the Packers.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Remember how like that dude coming out of Texas or no. Where did Vince Young come from?
Yeah, he started in Texas for college. Then
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
drafted by the Titans,
Yeah.
and he had some like great. He had a couple. I think he was the rookie of the year one year,
Yeah.
and he
It
had
was like him and Reggie Bush came out of that class too, right? I believe so.
I think so. That is a really good question. God, now I gotta look at that up.
Yeah, Packer backups. I mean, we've had some scholars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Matt Flynn would have been something if he didn't get. I think if he didn't get, is he still in the league?
I don't think so anymore.
I don't think
I
so.
think you know he had that one good season when Rodgers got hurt, and
Yeah,
he carried us through the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, he
Or
almost beat-
second half of the season. I don't
Yeah,
quite
he
remember.
had he set the Packers record for touchdowns in a game.
Mm-hmm. And then he just got passed around. I mean, he made a shit ton of money doing it.
Yeah.
I
But-
mean, yeah, he went to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Seahawks signed him for like a lot of
A
It
money.
good
looked
chunk
like
of
that
money.
he might,
And
and,
then-
that was like
and
Russell Wilson's rookie year.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he got traded somewhere else too, and then he got paid for like that contract and like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he got paid.
yeah.
I was
he
at
did what
I
he
was
had to
I
do.
was at the Packer game when he threw like 6 touchdowns against the Lions.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a game, man.
And that wasn't that like in the he threw most of those in the first. Oh, he played for the Saints. Remember the Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dude, Vince Young was in the same draft class as AJ Hawk.
Oh, really? So that must have been like
Crazy.
2007.
2006. Good call, man. Good. That's a good fucking A, man. You might not be able to spell some words in the dictionary,
can remember.
but I would have not known
Come to
what
Packer
year
talk.
AJ Hawk got drafted. So fucking good.
Hey, man,
shit,
Hawk
man.
was a fucking ball player back in the day. That's one
Yeah,
guy
he
I think he
was.
gets a little over. So, Matt Flynn played for the Seahawks, obviously the Packers, the Raiders, the Bills, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Saints. Came out of Louisiana State.
He's in the same draft class as Mercedes Lewis.
Oh,
Who's still
big dog.
Fucking playing.
Holy shit.
Hey, Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so good call by you. Get down.
Thanks, bruh.
Yeah, tough backup quarterbacks. Preseason. Who was like...
Hey, I mean,
They had a guy who, when like Jeff Janis was a rookie or something, they would just throw bombs to from him to Jeff Janis. Like that was just the preseason, was just bombs down the field to Jeff Janis.
we had Scott Tolzien.
Tolzien,
Seneca Wallace.
I think that's who I'm thinking of.
Zeke Bratkowski. That was back in the day. I think he was Bart Starr's backup. Aaron Brooks.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon.
Oh yeah. Did you hear what Jim McMahon
Doug Peterson
said not too long ago? He said like the Packers organization was just like far superior to the Bears or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
like,
yeah, I did hear
when I went over to the Packers organization, it was like, oh my god, it was like night and day difference. I was like a god over there. Some shit.
I got a fucking story. I want to discuss it, and this got to be Packer talk.
Packer talk. All right.
But
let me write
you
it
remember? So yeah, we remember. You remember the drama that went on between Greg Jennings and the Packers when he left?
Yep.
I fucking watched an interview that you might have seen. It was from 2018 that I had never seen.
Okay.
About a little insight about when the bad taste in his mouth started and why he had beef with the Packers.
I have not seen it.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about that.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it.
Jackson Travarius. Kyle Orton played for the Pack.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, these aren't right. No, we're past that. All right, so Packer backups. Should we just do we got to stick with the QBs. I was going to say overall, like any backup.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in Packer season, so get used to these Packer ratings.
yeah, and we'll get creative with them. We'll go, cause we've done positions. We'll think of something. We'll brainstorm. We got preseason yet.
Yeah.
But anyway,
host the Jets this Saturday.
We do.
They'll be here for a joint practice.
Rogers loves those.
Not.
He didn't want to do them last year.
I'm
surprised they're doing them this year.
Fucking A. Them and the Jets.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Packer backup quarterbacks.
I'm going to go ahead and just... I got to give this to Matt Flynn. I have to.
Matty Flynn?
I don't care if we triple dot on it, but Matt Flynn was like the most clutch backup we had.
No, yeah.
And it's a good-ass beer.
I agree.
I mean, you could go Hasselback, but I'm going to go Flinny. He was a guy who, if I didn't have a latte and all I could drink was IPAs and this was tossed in, that's a good backup beer. I could drink a couple of these.
I dig it.
Yeah?
Seamus, you got one? I got one. I can go if you.
I do. Mine's a little. So here's what I'm thinking.
Let's hear it.
I'm thinking Brett Favre, but this is right.
Brett Favre.
But he's obviously he started.
He was
for
a
while.
backup at one
He
point.
was.
Yeah,
okay,
I see what you're saying.
But my point is, so obviously was a backup at one point. First game he comes in. What was his first pass was a touchdown to the other team, right?
Well,
first game.
I think his first completion was to himself.
Oh yeah.
But his actual his first throw ever. That's a great question. That I do not know.
Or his first touchdown. It might have just been his first touchdown was to the other team. Interception,
Yeah.
pick six. Yeah.
Okay.
So I personally am not a big IPA drinker, so that's what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is that Brett Favre, because it was a little bit of a rough start.
Okay.
A little suspicious, a little not sure about it, but turned out to be an absolute gunslinger, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, MVP,
absolutely,
51K IPA.
So that's what you're all right.
That's what I'm going off.
I mean the can's green and gold. So I mean, when
who would you give it?
I just went through my spiel about Brett Favre.
You gave it when Brett Favre was a backup back in the day.
And but
He
when
was a backup for a hot minute,
but
for a
a
while.
hot minute. But then he came in, and I was telling him about his rough start.
Well, like in Atlanta, he was like a sideshow. The coach would be like, "Hey Favre, come here."
Hey, Favre, let's see how far
He would bet like other coaches from the other team. He'd be like, "Hey, how much you want to bet this guy can throw it up to the third deck up there?" And he'd be
Yeah.
like, "Get the fuck out of here!" No, he won't.
Come on, Favre.
And he'd bet him like $100 and be like, "Hey Favre, come here, throw it up to that third deck. Come on." And he just like easily throw it up there.
Yeah.
And the coaches loved Favre because he was just like a funny sideshow.
Mississippi
Yeah.
fucking loved the game.
Yeah.
And he backed up old
Magic Man.
Magic Man,
Majkowski.
Don Majkowski.
Yeah. So yeah, I was telling him about his rough start, and that's how I was feeling about this drink because I'm not an IPA drinker.
Do you guys know who the quarterback was in Atlanta when he was drafted?
No.
Michael Vick?
I'll look at it. Yeah. A little after. I'll look that up.
Yeah, because I got mine. I'm going Mark Brunell.
Oh.
He was a quarterback for the Packers for a while, and
Max is out.
Max?
That's all right. So yeah,
Mark Brunell.
I'm looking up who the starting quarterback was when Brett Favre was a backup in Atlanta. A sideshow, so to say. Man. It's crazy to think Favre was drafted to
What year?
1991. And yeah, I mean he wore the like classic running back helmet, just an OG. All right, we're looking it up. The Falcons started 16 quarterbacks during Brett Favre's. Oh.
hello.
Hey, back at it. Back at it.
Yeah, so I was going Mark Brunell is when I got cut off there. Just for the fact that almost like what Seamus was saying, other than the fact that I don't know if I would call this a Hall of Fame beer for me personally. But Mark Brunell, I think he led the Jaguars to an AFC Championship game. He was a really good quarterback for the Jaguars for
Yeah.
He had Keenan McCardell. Who's that other wide receiver? Shoots. But he played with Fred Taylor. Played for a long time. A solid, above average
How long
quarterback.
did he play for the Packers?
Not too long. Let me look that up here quick.
I cannot find who. Okay.
Well, you'd have to look up like what year he was drafted, and then look up it's like the '94 Falcons roster.
91.
91. Yeah. So let's see. Mark Brunell. He played with the Packers. All right, so yeah, give me the. Well, not just with the. Well, that just doesn't make sense. I hit career and it only gives me one team.
Chris Miller was a quarterback there. Billy Tolliver.
The old Towls man.
Dolph.
The old Dolster.
Dolvy McDolverson.
Yeah, I could see wanting him over Favre.
Holy shit, yeah. Played 89 to 99, so he must have been the guy at the time.
All right, so Packers selected Brunell in the 5th round, 1993 draft. And so he was drafted in 93, and then he went to the Jags in 95. So yeah, he was with and then he went to the Redskins in 2004. So he was with the Jaguars for 9 seasons. Yeah. So, played well and did his thing. I'm not going to go through all his stats. He was a Pro Bowl. Oh, he was the Pro Bowl MVP.
Oh!
Whoa!
Back in the day when the Pro Bowl meant something.
Meant something.
Now players don't even want to go.
Yeah, so that's Mark Brunel. So this beer, Black Rocks 51K IPA. We're rating it off. Packers backup quarterbacks. Love you, Jordan Love.
John Love. John Love.
Shout out, Pat.
I gave it a Matt Flynn. Seamus gave it a Brett
Seamus gave
Favre.
it a fucking
Well,
Brett
it was.
It's an MVP beer.
Holy shit, a Hall of Fame
Hall of
beer.
Fame
Oh! Oh!
All I'm saying is it exceeded my original expectations. That's what I was getting at.
All right, Hall of
Hey,
Famer.
fuck you, you know. Hey, little Matt Flynn, you little Brunel, little Brett Favre.
I like beer cause it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to
Episode
sing,
37,
I'd sing
Beer of the Week. Seamus Johnson.
I drink
Can I
beer
have
when
un
I'm
mas,
sad,
please?
'cause the beer
Un
can
más
make me
beer.
laugh.
Un mas
Now there's
cerveza.
nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
I love beer.
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. And stuff.
Want a beer of the week?
Yeah, I want a beer of the week. Oh, what a good beer of the week. We're sitting here. We're back in the OG stew. Last week we were back at my house. James is struggling getting Tarskies out. So this week we had kind of an abundance of different weekly challenges on top of, weekly challenges that had to do with the monthly challenge and also just personal weekly challenges. Not all that were accomplished, but
Working on them.
working
Work
on them.
and that's all that matters. You know?
So Max, we're talking.
Nah, we're fucking failures, dude.
Yeah, you know. But I
you
mean,
want to put it that way? I mean,
Fucking failures, bro.
Jesus.
Nah, we did all right.
You did all right. I mean, hey, I got my personal weekly challenge from my monthly challenge was to get the milk jug sanded down.
Yeah.
Got that sanded down.
Yeah, you did. I mean, it's looking good.
Yeah. So I got some work done on that. So my goal was to work on it like 30 minutes.
Well, and that was a part of your monthly challenge,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. That was I couldn't remember your milk jug. Okay.
Something to get you motivated. Something to, I think we were coming up with plans.
Right, yeah.
So my goal was like to get 30 minutes in on the milk jug, working on my monthly challenge before I kind of got into my everyday laid back shit. I didn't.
What was our? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but because that was the monthly challenge stuff. Did we want to just do the?
Oh yeah, let's do the
weekly
weekly
challenge,
Yeah,
the
Let's
personal
get into
weekly
that. Yeah, let's
stuff?
do that. So we all did really. We really executed that.
you know, we
So it was write a stand-up joke.
So yeah, write a stand-up joke. You know what?
So what I hadn't thought. All right, what I was thinking about is, doing a skit about the way I would, what kind of lessons and wisdom I would give my kids that I like teach my kids from what I grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of how I was thinking about it was like, basically my childhood being the last kid born, my parents were 30, 34 years old by the time they had me. So basically, I never really had the sex talk. I never really had the do's and the don'ts. I basically grew up on a picture book of the not to's.
Right.
That was written and illustrated by my 3 older siblings. Coming home, being at home and waking up one morning and your brother's passed out on the back porch, drunk, and your dad just wakes you up and brings you over there and points at him and is like, don't fucking be like that.
Don't be like this.
And
Don't fucking do that.
Joke is life lessons to pass out in your bed so no one sees you. Or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
you
and
know.
then go on from there and be like, your sister brings home a guy named after an insect and who's just kind of a piece of shit. Look at that. Like, Carl, that's another. Add that to the book. Don't
Don't
fucking,
bring. You
don't
can bring home any
fucking-
dudes you want,
just
just
don't
not ones named fucking ladybug. You know what I'm saying, guy?
So my whole skit was like what I was thinking about was like, how am I going to give my kids advice when my whole picture book is just made up of shit of, don't pass out on the porch, man. You know, don't let your dad find you in the car passed out with a cup of beer in your hand with Doritos all over your shirt. That's because I feel like growing up, that was like my whole thing. My dad would always just drag me to these like crime scenes in a sense.
You know what you'd have to do, or what you should do, I think that would be funny, is if you find, like, you Google, like, real life lessons, right? Like, fuck, I don't know either. Like, whatever you, like, don't fucking work hard for what you want in life, even if it means sacrificing a little bit. But your life lesson is, don't pass out on the back porch with a bottle of booze in your hand.
So like my end, what I thought would be like, all right, so like now I have kids and I just have a picture book written and illustrated by my 3 older siblings.
Yeah.
And what I'm just supposed to sit them down and fucking flip them through it.
Don't be like this guy.
Don't
So
come
you're-
home blacked out drunk and cuddle in between mom and dad. Oh wait, that was mine. I did that. All right, don't do that.
Let's go through Auntie's stories. Let's
Yeah.
let's try not to be like Auntie.
Yeah.
How do we not be like Auntie? Okay.
Because in all honesty,
page
like,
one,
it was like at my age, I swear to God, my parents were just like, I did laundry, my own laundry, I think probably since I was like 5 years old. Pretty sure my mom just was like, yeah, just put the fucking detergent in this shit, splash it in. Been doing this for 28 years. I'm done with it. So like all my pictures, just a little bit detergent. All right. Not a little too much tequila. All right. Flip the page. Don't pass out on the back porch. All right. Flip the page. So I got a lot of wisdom to pass on.
That would be that'd be funny.
It was getting there.
Yeah.
I think I definitely think you need to show those like stark contrasts between like what you saw or what your lessons were versus what like
real life lessons
or just like prototypical suburban lessons, you know, that
don't drink too much. Don't pass out on the
Right.
back porch.
don't drink a lot of soda. Sugar will rot your teeth. If you drink 12 Busch Lights in an afternoon before the sun goes down, your whole afternoon, your whole night's shot.
Bloated?
You're gonna be bloated. Your liver's gonna be feeling
There's
it.
gonna be a whole pizza in your stomach.
Yeah, or something like goofy, like don't drink too much Kool-Aid because so much sugar is bad for you.
Don't ever take a drink from Charlie because there may be skin in it. Who knows? Don't play baseball if you're the batter and you don't get a bat and the baseball's a rock. You know.
Something. Yeah, you'd have to do like those stark. Yeah, that'd be funny.
But a lot of the Wardlow stories are just like, who the fuck does that shit?
And then you got to take the Bert Kreischer and just amplify it to the
I'm the machine
times 100. Yeah. Did you see he just shot a movie about that story?
No way.
They shot a movie like about his life and
That could be
machine
good.
story. I think it could be, yeah. But from what it sounds like, and this is a complete sidetrack, the machine story is just like the real story is a very, very small like kernel of what the machine story is.
Oh, okay. So it's like, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Oh, he is
Which is good, and he did a great job.
Absolutely.
I think everybody who's ever watched that stand-up skit was sucked into it.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you have a story even close
Definitely.
to that, you gotta capitalize on it. You
Yeah,
can't.
I think that's like one of the biggest things of stand-up that I learned is like, you hear every stand-up comedian say like, this is the dead truth. This is exactly what happened, and like,
Swear to God, this is true. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. This
and
is
you're
the
like
truth.
the whole time like in the back of your mind, unless like I like to buy into it, That's
Right.
something I like to try with comedians.
yeah.
I buy into it. I know it's fucking half,
But I want to
bullshit.
believe it's the truth.
Yeah, and that's what makes it funny. So like, yeah, I feel like with a joke, you just have to fucking amplify it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from the show. There.
No.
Just trying to get a
You
beer.
get, yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, I think what did you come up with over there, Seamus? Anything?
You can say no.
Nothing,
if you
yeah.
don't want my
No.
shit.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool.
No, I did not think about it until like early this morning. I'm like, oh my god, I have to write a comedy skit. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
It is. It's like I feel like it takes a different, because like growing up as in our family, we have, and I'm sure you know any family, we have stories.
Oh yeah.
That are just obnoxious.
For sure.
That if a guy who is threaded into the comedian mindset could take these stories and just fucking make them obnoxiously more obnoxious.
Absolutely.
And so today, I listened to stand-up comedy all day and was just trying to like put together how people told stories, and I was just like, it's so hard. Like I was trying to make something funny to myself, and it was like
It's almost like when you're trying to make it, and I have no idea, honestly. I've never written a joke.
big writer over there.
Yeah, big. But it's almost like if you try to make it funny, that's when it's like harder to write. But if you just like write down the general like, don't pass out on the back porch or back stoop with beer in your hand.
Yeah.
And then you can like
make sure it's your house when you start ripping screens out.
Yeah, or and you just keep kind of breaking it down. Like,
That's a
okay,
true
why
story.
is that funny? And you just break. But yeah, I definitely think the experiences you've seen, and just being the youngest too. Like they you see things
Because that's like that was the complete honesty of like what I was trying to get to, where it was like the advice and the wisdom I was given was truly a real life picture book of the do nots written by my siblings. Like
Right.
that was, I honestly think like my mom was 34 when she had me. Like like
or like what? Okay, so when you were like little. So this is stretching the truth, but when your favorite show was like Blue's Clues, so you'd be like, okay, so I watched Blue's Clues and I saw Blue do this, and I saw my brother pass out on the porch with booze in his hand, so that means I shouldn't do this. Or like compare it somehow. It's
compare
like
and contrast.
It's just so like ridiculous.
Bob the Builder built a beautiful house. Chris the Builder broke the house trying to build it. That's the do nots. You know, if you can't figure something out, I was taught just to fucking throw it across the room.
Right. Before I started watching Bob the Builder, I thought you fixed houses by first breaking them.
And then I could come back with something like, well, at the end of the day, I was the one breaking the house. Right. My dad was always cleaning up after my messes.
Yeah.
My dad's like straight up thought somebody was trying to break into our house for a year. Because I had it didn't matter. I was getting into my house after school. I kicked a fucking glass window open because it was raining out and I didn't have keys. And I told my dad, someone's trying to get in this house. You better. And my dad concrete shut these windows. He poured slabs of concrete in our basement windows because he thought somebody was trying to break in. And it was just me the whole time. I never told him. I still don't think I've ever told him this. Like, Pops, dude, like, every day after freshman year of high school, if it was raining, I didn't have my key. I busted them bitches on.
That's a good one.
I kicked open our side garage door, like, fucking SWAT style, just poof, poof, busted everything open. I told my dad, like, you better patch that bitch up.
Someone really wants to get in this house. There must be.
And my dad probably was having a panic attack for years, and the whole time it was just my stoned ass just trying to get home because I was wet.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta break your house down.
The do's and
Get in.
don'ts.
Do's and the don'ts. I'm writing my own coloring book.
Do's and the don'ts. That'd be good. That could be my name's Kärel. These are the do's and don'ts I learned growing up. Don't wake up passed out with a bottle of booze in your hand. Do wake up at 5 a.m. and start vacuuming the entire house, or something just like
The vacuum gets. Don't throw the vacuum across the fucking room if one little chunk gets stuck in the vacuum.
Yeah. Don't tell your dad to take the pans out of the oven himself. Do just take the pans out of the oven yourself.
Don't tell your dad you're not going to take his fucking socks off at a spaghetti dinner. because that spaghetti dinner will turn into the wallpaper.
Yeah,
so, all right.
something like that, where you'd have to set it up like most people's do's and don'ts are. Don't forget to take the trash out. Do your homework.
Mine was don't throw the trash across the kitchen,
Yeah.
and go to school.
Just
Hey, hell of a household I grew up in.
no, but that
And
would
my
be
parents are great.
that would be funny. No, yeah, it's just different. I mean, it was just different.
I'm
from the stories. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
like,
Oh man, hell of
But-
stories.
But no, that would be funny. Just the complete stark contrast between
I remember-
some people's do's and don'ts and
Just
yours.
to tell stories, I remember like in the heat, and I will say in the heat of summer, like July, when we had the ping pong table set up outside.
Oh, yeah.
I remember fucking facing my brother Charlie against in ping pong, and he had the temper of a fucking neutered horse. Like this fucker was pissed off and you're playing ping pong, and it starts getting hot. You're sweating. I remember one time I scored a point on this fucker, just slammed it down, and I was being cocky about it, like, what's good? Like I'm like 11.
Yeah.
And he just took his paddle and just looked at me and just threw it across the table and fucking got me right in the forehead. Just poof. And he's like, what's good? I'm like, all right, I guess let's keep playing my point.
Not that point.
That's how I grew up. Like, you think shit's sweet till you get hit in the head with a ping pong paddle,
Yeah, that'd be
We're
funny.
playing Yahtzee, and the Yahtzee cups get thrown.
See, now you got real life stuff,
Yeah.
and my idea was like not real life at all. My idea was more of like, so in the future, water wasting will replace racism. For example, if when I'm 80 years old, my grandchildren will speak of me as some speak of their racist grandparents. So they'd say things like, so my grandpa, he's like kind of a water waster. Yeah, like he does dishes by hand instead of with like lasers or some fucking futuristic shit. And like he still prefers like long hot showers instead of like cool mist rinses. Like he's crazy, or he's so bad for the environment or something stupid like that. And
He's so racist against water.
yeah, like he
Like
hates
water waste is just as
the-
bad as racism.
Racist against the environment.
and if I was really into it, I would use like a more feminine sounding voice when I would be
Let's hear it.
describing. Yeah, I can't do it right now. But what I would say then after that, God, see, I can't even say if I could not do this in front of a crowd of people. I can barely do it in front
My
of.
fucking granddad keeps the water on when he's brushing his fucking teeth.
Yeah, exactly. That was
What
good.
a piece of shit.
When he does the dishes, he just fills the whole sink with water. He doesn't even use.
There's fucking kids in Africa.
That-
You know?
They don't even have. So then I would say like that voice I did, that was my grandson. Yeah, in the future, men will sound like women and women will sound like men. And then I'll tell my grandson I prefer long hot showers over cool mist washes. And I'll take an entire bottle of painkillers and sit in my hot tub and die because I'd rather basically fade off into oblivion than hear my own kin say how I'm old, slow, and out of touch one more fucking time. That was my idea of a joke.
That was a good one.
But I mean, if you think about it, like that's realistic things that
Yeah.
could happen where
Yeah.
people are going to be offended by the way you waste water.
Right. So
Like more than it's going to overpower serious topics like racism. Like, like nowadays it's like, Grandpa, can't say that.
Right.
Now it's like, Grandpa, turn the fucking faucet off.
you taking showers for Grandpa?
You smell fine.
You can't take showers
Smell
anymore.
way too good, Grandpa.
Have you ever heard of dry shampoo?
Car washes are
Like-
going to have like fucking rallies outside of them. Save the water.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, That was my idea. It has to be tightened up a little bit. Be
That's a good start. That's a good start. I like that.
You know, just take a couple vitamins, take a walk. You'll think of some fun stuff.
Speaking of taking a walk, I listened to a TED Talk, really interesting today. This guy out in L.A., I can't remember his name, but I don't know if he was into like comedy or acting or something, or just a normal fucking Joe Schmo kind of guy. And he was talking about on this TED Talk how one day he had a joke about like, oh, it'd be so funny if I started a company where I took people for walks. And he's like, yeah, it was just a funny joke. And then I got into depth thinking about it. And one day I started a website, made an LLC, made some T-shirts, and put my name out there. And all of a sudden, like a week later, I'm getting calls to take people for walks. Like, and this fucking guy, I mean, this is a later conversation to have, but this fucking guy would charge like, $10 or something, $10 a mile or something, and people would call him just to get out of their house and take a walk with this guy.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not, not a
It's
bad,
really
like, and this draws into mental health talk where, like, people would just call him and be like, yeah, I'll pay $30 for 3 miles, we'll go, and he's like, people would just drain their lives on me. And then the time would be up, and fucking next week they're calling me again, like, oh, I have some shit to tell you. Let's take a walk. $50 this week. We're taking a 5-mile hike.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably cheaper than some
fucking therapist.
And dude, sometimes all you need is just spew words.
Get it out of you.
And then once it's out of you, like, yeah, it's just done.
Yeah, and this is like a solution to problems like we were thinking about last week.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there are income people like us who do have a bit of a platform, have a little more income and opportunity to do something like this, who can charge somebody $5 instead of a $150 therapy session.
Right.
Come take a walk with me. I'll make something up where it's a legal right where I can't share your shit. You can just take a fucking 10-minute walk with me and just down all your shit on me.
Right.
I won't tell a fucking soul. $5. It's all it costs. And that's this is a mental health topic.
Yeah,
but
no.
This is super. Let's get into that.
I see what
because I have a lot to go on this.
Well, yeah, we'll talk. We'll get into it. We'll save it.
Let's say that.
We'll save it.
I actually, that's one thing I did take a lot out of.
Absolutely. No, we definitely should get back to this and talk to it more, or talk about it more, because I think it is important just being able to talk and be able to freely not feel judged for or anything, or feel any type of way about what you're saying is a huge thing that can help mental health. And
on that note, should we mosey on down?
So yeah, we talked about our weekly challenges.
Did a beer of the week.
We did a beer of the week. We talked about our personal weekly goals. I don't know if we talked about them a ton last week. The personal weekly goals. Carl wanted to get some Wi-Fi. I wasn't going to take any vitamins before I was done working.
I didn't get Wi-Fi.
Seamus was going to wake up before 10 a.m. every morning.
Every single day.
He did it. Good job. I failed one day.
I didn't get Wi-Fi at all.
So,
still watching Home Improvement.
Those are just, some little personal weekly things to keep in the back of our mind. It was nothing explicitly we needed to do for the show, but I honestly kind of felt, for me personally, like it hurt me a little bit, because it was like I didn't really know how to handle failure when I did fail, because I was like, oh man, like I feel like I shouldn't have failed, but
let's mosey on down to monthly challenge town so you can talk about this, Maximilian.
I mean,
now we're gonna. I had to put some music in it. You were about to get
I was
into
right in
something
the middle talking, guy.
I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't gonna know. It's all good.
Hey,
all
Max
good.
gonna start us out with the monthly challenge. I'm sorry, Max.
It's all good,
I
buddy.
feel like a dick.
We'll move her on down to monthly challenge down.
Max, tell us what you're thinking.
Let's see here. What did
I'm sorry, dude. I feel like
No,
a
it's
dick.
okay.
Holy
You know?
shit.
Just
You know what
needed to
happens?
say something.
You know,
had to
just
get it
talking about
out.
how much it feels good to, get things off your chest and talk and speak freely without feeling.
Who gives me buttons?
I felt like a I felt like a failure this week. Oh well, we're cutting it off here. On to the next one.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna
No,
go,
that's
I'll go
funny.
sit in the corner.
No.
I thought we
No,
were
trust me,
gonna-
I take no offense to
I
anything at all.
Okay, cool.
Except for that was
Pretty
mean.
No, I care about what you
No,
say.
I know.
Can you continue?
No, I was getting a little too deep into the weeds.
No,
there. I feel ya.
that was why
You know.
I was like, oh, we're monthly challenge talk. Let's separate. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Well, no, my monthly challenge was writing more. It didn't have a whole lot to do with what I was talking about.
Son of a bitch, dude. I just ruined a
We'll
whole
talk
great...
after the show, Max.
No,
Don't worry.
no.
You can call me later.
Can you continue?
No.
Damn it.
I mean, yeah,
We
like
can go for a walk
Yeah,
tomorrow.
continue. Fuck me.
I did not. I only said it because I thought how funny it was that it happened. I
was a little surprised.
I surprised myself. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Fuck. So what are you talking
It's all
about?
good. The drinking game this week will be drink every time Kärel cuts someone off. And you'll be drunk 5 minutes into the show.
I don't want to talk anymore. I was like really excited to hear what you said, and I just cut you off for no reason. Can you please continue?
I was saying something about
I'm a failure. I'm not worthy.
Does this have to do with the no vitamins
Yeah.
during?
Oh yeah, no, I was saying how like it just actually having like if I wouldn't have explicitly said this is what I want my goal to be and I just had it in my head, I don't know if I would have accomplished because I did make it 3 days. Well, the weekend doesn't count, but I did Thursday, Friday, and Monday. I held up my end of my personal weekly goal. And then today I just was having a long day and, crumbled a little bit, but it made me feel even worse. Like it hurt more than what it normally would have. If in my head I'm just like, yeah, this is my goal for the next week. I want to do this. But like saying it and telling you guys like this is what my goal is, but then today just not being able to stick through it all the way, like it hurt more. But in the same sense, it was like it doesn't fucking matter if I need to do this. I need to do this. That's
Yeah.
what I.
Yeah.
That's,
So, like, I gotta ask you because I think this is where you were maybe heading before I was a complete asshole. Did it fuck up your week in a way that you think was negative? Do you think we talk about vitamins in the sense of consuming and when consuming? Like sometimes that can be more positive for a person. Like say you can consume vitamins while you work and what you do, and it keeps you sane. Where with me, where if I consume vitamins with what I do, I can't stay on. I have too many tasks. I have too many, and it fucks me up. Where I like at the end of the day, I wish I was like I wish I could take vitamins all day and do this because.
well, that's the slippery slope. It's like once you kind of once you start getting used to doing it, it's almost like you need to then do it. So like I did.
It's a habit.
Yeah, it turns into a habit that you like. It doesn't really like affect you negatively. It's almost more of personally like it didn't affect me negatively in terms of just the way I think about it, and for what like today, like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday like was fine. Like it was challenging, but it wasn't like a big deal. So that my only thing was saying that like today, it was just a long day, and when I failed, it like even though it didn't matter to anybody but myself, and just talking about it here, it like affected me more mentally than what it normally would have.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if like that also, if you guys also felt that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
I feel the same way about the stand-up thing. I didn't really get to it today, and I'm like, well, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get this done. I'm like,
Right. Okay.
You know, I think you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, you're just like, oh man, like, you did it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
But in the hard line to the hard.
a bowl and I smoked it, my friend. Anyway, yeah.
But see, like I sit on the same line with you two, and I feel like I understand what you're saying because, you know, I've been taking meds for ADHD my whole adolescence life, like since I was a young teenager till now. So probably, you know, fucking 8 years. And just 2 weeks ago, I was just like, you know what? I felt dependent on it. Like I needed it to function and be a hard worker. And it hit a point where I was like, I feel like I'm dependent on this. I don't know if I can be the same worker I am, without it, even though I did it years before, like I was able to function and be fine without it. Now that I'm so I just like stopped it. Put down, I wanted to take 2 weeks to just not take any medication, anything, and be clear and kosher.
Sure.
And the first couple days were, like you said, like I was just like fucking, I'd wake up and I wouldn't be as on point or like ready to go and ready to tackle projects. And it was just like, I would just bury myself where it's like, oh, like you're so self-sufficient or you're dedicated to these medications that you can't do anything without them.
Right. And
I'm glad that I took I beat it through that point where a couple days went on and a week went on and then I didn't really think about it.
Sure.
But then, like you have those, I have conversations with my doctor or whatever, where they're like, it's okay. Like you should be on this. And it's like, well, yeah, I feel better, more like active and more like I'm getting shit done on it. But like, are you just fucking telling me I should be on it to suck something, get my money off me? Or do I actually have to be on this?
Sure.
And so finally I hit a point where it's been 2 weeks and today was the first day we're not on it. And I was like, fucking hey, dude, I'm getting all the shit done I have to get done. I feel okay. But then I broke down and didn't get all the way through it. Yeah.
Again. Hey, that is a great point to take a break and say, all right, we'll come back to this because the mental health stuff, you sent me an anxiety video. Or a guy talking about anxiety on a TED Talk, and he talked about being prescribed medicine and things like that, and how to maybe not go the prescribed medicine way.
Yeah, so let's get deep in that.
So yeah, we'll get into that, and that's a perfect.
I'm just trying to make up for the asshole move I just pulled on Max.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't remember nothing. We're gonna we're gonna mosey our way down to.
Can I play music?
Should we get a little bag toss going?
Oh yeah,
let's get some bag toss going.
Yeah, let's play some bag toss, man.
Toss a little bag around.
Hey, it's episode 37. We all realize Carl's a dick.
Nah,
all right, here we go.
Just a chode.
Nothing new.
That's why we keep you around, Jim.
You the man, baby.
I didn't think you'd make it today.
I didn't think I would either, boys.
AK Shamus showed up.
Hey,
Happy to be here.
Episode 37. The hole's accountable.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
let's get some bags going.
Let's get
toss
some
them
baggity
around.
bags. Let's go with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're playing some bag toss.
Hell yeah, man.
What's the score?
Score is 29-17.
29-17, I'm up. Maximilian, let's toss some motherfucking bags.
Let's do it.
Doggy G. right, Mac's going to take the first shot because he's a bitch. Wow.
Max sinks one on the edge of one. It's pretty close. Carl shoots it short like always.
Son of... Come on.
Oh, Max follows up with another short toss. Carl puts one on the board.
Oh, it's not through yet, bud.
Ooh, Max with another bag on the board. Carl tosses another one short. All right.
So what are we counting that? Just a one? What is that?
That's a close call, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it is what it is. It stands at the end. But
Fucking start the music in.
What are we calling it? 1 point? 1 point for Max? 1 point for Max. Was it 30-17? 30-17. Max is still up. Max with the first toss. Definitely does not want to spill his beer. That'd be very unfortunate. Max with the first toss on the other side. Puts one in the hole. Carl follows it up with the old side shot. Doesn't stay on. Max puts another one on the board. Carl puts one on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, two in the hole for Max, and Carl shoots wide. That's the old sixer for Max. Ends up 36-17, ladies and gentlemen. Max is crushing Carl right now.
that was beautiful. That was the exact way to put it. Thank you, Seamus.
Absolutely. Sorry, bud. You gotta step up your game. You got it.
Fuck you.
That's bags, ladies and gentlemen.
Episode 37, bag toss.
Ooh, I'm looking good. Man, 36-17. Am I playing against someone with no hands?
Fuck you.
All right, we're gonna come back with a little weekly challenge grid update. We're gonna roll the dice for our weekly challenge.
Max is gonna roll the dice since he's losing. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You're so generous. You're so kind. What a man. What a guy.
Shut up.
All right, episode 37, bag tossing books. Max is killing it as usual. Nothing new there. Carl sucks dick. Nothing new there.
Let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold Us Accountable.
Woo! Episode 37. Yeah!
Yeah, boy, we played some
buddy.
bag toss. Once again, I'm fucking hella in the lead, so we're good. We're looking good.
Yeah.
Just about double the score, huh?
Doubled up almost.
Doubled
yeah.
up.
Hey, we're gonna mosey on down to a weekly challenge time.
We still got to do the dice roll.
Yeah. We're gonna weekly challenge time.
Our weekly challenge.
So Max is gonna roll for the weekly challenge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Real quick, we gotta just pop out the. Let's see. What did we do last week? We had to write some stand-up. I believe was our weekly challenge goal last week, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We just got done talking about it, so I should know that. Where did that go? Write some stand-up. There we go. All right, so we got to pull this one down. What could we replace with this one, fellas? Any ideas?
Come up with your own business you would start. A business plan. Not necessarily like down to the nitty gritty, just like an idea of something you would be interested in starting.
I like it. I like it.
I like it too.
Good for me.
You did something, buddy.
Thanks, James.
Idea. That's a good one. I like that.
I got fucking olives stuck in my teeth. What a terrible taste.
Ugh, the worst. But you know,
Yuck.
you put up with it for a Supreme,
Sure.
From Happy Joe's.
especially from Happy Joe's. All right, I like
I'm Happy
this
Joe's, too.
board. I'm happy about this board. Let's roll some dice. You know what?
Maximilian.
I'm gonna give a celebrity roll.
Oh.
I've never felt so special in my
To-
entire life.
Oh, you're giving them both.
I'm giving them both, man. I'm giving Seamus both
All right.
rolls here.
All right. Now you
for
gotta go
one.
one,
So
one at a
roll-
time.
One dice at a time, my friend.
See what
All
you
right.
got.
It's a lot of pressure.
All right, we got a 5.
We got a 5.
Column 5. All right.
Ooh, are we gonna get the
Ooh,
karaoke?
Oh, we got a good column.
Why? Where'd my mouse go?
All right.
So we got plan an out-of-town Packer game, see a new stadium once a year. Then we got trash pickup through
A park.
any park in Green Bay, or any park. We got Gumball Skinny Boot a $50 tattoo. Ow! Pick out an album for the other person to listen to. Loser of toss cooks the winner food once a week, and karaoke night.
Karaoke. Yes,
All right,
sir.
Seamus Johnson.
All right,
Let's see what
guys,
you
here
got.
it goes.
Seamus
Here
Johnson,
we
Notre
go.
Dame Academy. 2.
Trash pickup.
Trash pickup
Through
through
a park.
All right.
All right, we got to capitalize on this one.
We do have to do it this time. Yes, we do.
All right, and I think we think about this, think about where we're going, and maybe we'll come out end of the show and figure out what park we're cleaning.
Yes, I will be gone this weekend. I'm not
I will
sure
too.
when I'll be back on Sunday, but
Well, it
Might have
looks
to
like
meet up on Monday.
I have to do a Monday park cleanup.
pretty busy being retired and all.
What do you got going on Monday there,
No,
retired
I
Rick?
should be okay. I should be okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to break into your bath time.
Ah, my soaking time.
Soaking time.
All right, so we're gonna clean up a park. Anytime that Seamus is not soaking, and yeah, we'll get back. We'll make sure we do that this week. Take some footage, and do it right.
Yeah, no, because we had a lot of fun doing it those couple times.
Yeah,
You
man,
know,
we had a
did
good
it.
one, a
We had-
snowy one through Baird's.
Oh yeah.
Then we had that like snowy-ish one through what
the
was
chili one over at was that Green Isle?
No, we did do Green Isle as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah, I forgot about Green Isle. That was a great time because that was the whole cookout. We got brats, beer.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was a
good time.
very good time. And I'm thinking of that one we just like walked along that like creek bottom for like.
Oh yeah.
What park was that again?
Pampering.
Can't think of it.
Yep.
Hell of a park.
Hell of a park though. Beautiful park. Love the park.
Love that park.
Cleaned up. We found a random sandal.
Where the
Bottom of
fuck
crate.
were we?
I can't remember.
It wasn't Baird's?
No, it wasn't Baird's. It was that like hole. On the cliff.
Fonferric?
Fonferric.
Fonferric.
Yeah, we were at Fonferric. Yeah.
Yeah,
We,
We
love
did do a
Fonferric.
cleanup at Fonferric.
we did that.
Wow,
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
forgot about that. Good time.
Good times.
Good times. Yeah.
So this week we're doing a trash cleanup through a park. We haven't decided on which park yet, but we will do that in the future. But
yeah.
all right, we're doing a trash cleanup through a park. Thanks for the celebrity roll,
Appreciate that, Seamus.
Shame-o.
That's what I'm here for.
Hey, we appreciate you.
Fuck yeah, we do.
Huh?
And we're gonna keep her on moving down to the monthly challenge town that we had this week, or this month.
Music okay, all right? We're good? Everything's all right?
Good time. Good time.
All right,
good
good
time.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, episode 37. I ain't interrupt nobody. We're going to talk a little monthly challenge. We tried that earlier. I fucked it all up. I just fucking broke hearts today.
Killing me, man. Killing me, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know if I'll ever recover.
I don't think so. And I don't think I will either.
I don't know, the way we have our vocals set on the soundboard. We're sounding nice.
Sounding nice. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 37, monthly challenge update. Let's get down to her.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Got a lot of fun. Well, we got things to talk about. For
Yeah,
monthly
we got things to talk
challenge.
about.
How you guys been doing on the monthly challenges? Carl, you're doing the milk jug.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Seamus was doing you're working out,
Working out.
and I was writing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Who wants to start?
I can start. It's been up and down for me. My biggest thing, I think we came out with action plans last week, right? And so I was going to, before I would go to the gym, work out, or kind of like do my own thing, I would write for at least an hour. And so let's see, that was Thursday and Friday. Thursday was more of a challenge. I tried sitting down and like handwriting, and that just didn't go that well. But I did. I sat down for an hour and tried. It's not like I wasn't trying to write or I wasn't writing. It just didn't it just wasn't the flow I was envisioning, kind of.
So, what'd you go, what were your expectations going in? What was your kind of final results coming out?
So, Thursday, my expectations were I was just going to, just start going. Like, the pen, pencil was just going to start moving. I was going to be flowing. It was going to be great. But I just never got, comfortable, really. I could never find that,
groove?
Yeah, or even the thought I had about writing, the story in mind I had for writing just never was solidifying in my brain to be able to put down on paper. And I was just kind of half writing, half rewriting things I had already written. But I was well, I just got to write it down on paper so that when I really start writing, it'll
So
come
did you
to
have
me.
throughout that day that you did that? Did you have an idea of what you were thinking of, what you plan on writing in execution, a whole coming on plan, and then when it happened, it just didn't flow the way you thought it was, or
Pretty much, yeah. I had an idea, or I wouldn't even say an outline, but just a starting rough few paragraphs that I was gonna kind of go off and just keep writing about or adding on to this story I had in mind, and it just didn't feel right. It felt like I was missing something from other things I had written before that I wanted to pull in, but I couldn't remember them, so I was trying to almost make it up and then say I'll come back to it later and fill it in the right way. But it just never got flowing the right way on that last Thursday. But Friday was good. Friday I actually did sit down for an hour and actually wrote some solid ideas and got some concrete in my head, concrete visuals. Because for me, the hardest part is you can have a story in mind, but making the story flow from your brain into other people's brains the way you want it to flow is the hardest part. So it's I would start writing, and then I'll go back and reread a couple sentences, and I'll just be okay, this makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to anybody else. So then you have to go back and rewrite it to make sense, and then you're rewriting other sentences you've written before that, and it's.
Can I ask you a question that comes to mind to me?
Yeah.
Because to me, I've always tried writing, since I was young. Just whether it was poetry, when I got into high school, it would be rap or whatever. I liked writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my biggest writer's block would come from a brew of ideas I would have during a day. Certain times I would think of something, and you have those clicks during a day, or those times where just words come and words are there and words are flowing, words are feeling good, and then later in the day you go to kind of capitalize on it, and it just disappears.
Or it
And-
like doesn't sound
Yeah.
as good, and you're like, that's dumb. Why did I think about it?
So
like
a thing
that?
I want to ask you if you do this or not, because this is something. Obviously, I never got too serious about it, but a thing I would do is like, it was big for me in school, in high school, because I had a lot of time to think about things I wanted to think about. Well, I should have been learning about things, but I'd think about, say I wanted to write a poem or rap or something, and I would just come up. I'd have a random thought and an idea, and I'd put words together in such a perfect way, whether it be 2 words to 30 words, and I'd just write it down, jot it down. That thought I had right at that moment, and I'd put it away. I wouldn't try and add on to it. I wouldn't try to make it more than it was. I would just put my thought, my words, my rhymes together, put it aside, and then later on I'd have that same spark where it's like, oh man, words are coming together, everything sounds good. I'd write it down, boom, boom, boom. And then at the end of the day, I'd kind of sit back and just go through that notebook of random shit, and some shit would sit for months. Some shit would sit for a day, where something I thought about earlier that day would go with that. So like, do you do that at all during your writing process of like, oh, I have a great idea, I have a good, whether it's a story, a rap, a poem, or whatever, where you're like, oh, that's a great idea, jot it down, just a couple notes, fold that folder up, put it aside, I'll come back to it. Like, do you do that at all?
Yeah, definitely. That made me think one of your quotes from the garage days. It's just notes on a phone, man.
It's just notes on a phone, man. Yeah, it is.
So, dude, yeah,
Oh,
so many notes on my phone, and that is kind of one of the harder things. Is like I could have 2 different thoughts about the same thing. So, like, you jot it down, you write it, and then you try to come back, and you're like, well, okay, what was I going for here? And then it's like, oh, this is what I meant. But then you look at a note either before or after, and you're like, well, I was kind of going in a completely opposite direction here, but that's a good thought or a good idea, so how do I incorporate that? Or this is a good idea for a story, or just like a little blurb in a story. This is a good idea, but it doesn't fit in like the overarching story that I was trying to write about. So yeah, absolutely, where things will pop up in my head, or I'll be listening to a podcast, or I'll be listening to music, and it'll just make me be like, oh yeah, this would like be a cool story idea or theme for a story, or overarching like idea in terms of this person or this character is doing this thing, but they're hiding it from this character, and this character doesn't know, so they're trying, and and there's all those types of things that rattle around in my brain. And I think one of the hardest things for me right now is trying to keep it all straight and really solidify.
What do you mean by that?
So yeah,
keep it all straight.
So like, I want to write a short story for this month, right? But this short story, I feel like I have a bigger idea that I would love to one day, years and years, whatever, turn into like an actual story, like a chapter book, right? So it's hard to like write one short story that's going to be a part of a bigger story in my head.
Yeah.
So I have all these ideas, like all these for an entire story or an entire plot line, but I can't do that all in a month. You know, like that's just, it's not possible. It's not.
People take years to
Yeah.
make movies, to make albums,
or even
to
just
write
a
books.
rough
a
outline
story.
of a
Yeah.
script or story. It takes years. So I really just want to focus in and really just try to write one solid story, or just mini story of this bigger story that I would like to tell.
Yeah.
So one of the things, kind of what you were saying, the hard part is I have a lot of ideas, but there's like too many and it's like, okay, I just need to focus on this one idea I've had, and then if I can get this, then another little idea, and then another little idea, and let's just focus on little chunks and develop. Because I don't know how to write even a mini storybook. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just kind of going off of it in my head how I would try to accomplish it.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think if you're taking the time out of your day, out of your week to even try to write, I think you're already doing great for your challenge.
Yeah, I
Hey, thank
completely
you.
agree. No,
Thank
I
you.
completely agree with Seamus. Like,
You don't have to have a whole short story written by the end of the month.
No,
I don't think that was the goal. I think it was just to sit down and try and write a little bit, get them brain flowing creatively.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it
no,
seems
absolutely.
like you have, this overall goal and plan and this story that you have in mind and that the story you want to tell. And it's just a matter of, think about a fucking story. Think about anything that happens in life, anything that's happened in your life, whether it's a dumb up north story or a serious life. There's so much tiny, intricate details that go into a
Exactly.
story to be able to portray that image and be able to, because to me, I think a good author is a person who can make you imagine and see what you're reading in your head. You know what I mean? Like, I've never
Paint
been
a
able to
picture
write.
with words. That's
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly what you said. I've never been able to write a book or read a book. I've read 2 books in my fucking life. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Maybe the fucking bullshit I had to read in high school, but like, there was a few books, and one of it was Jerry Kramer's book about, it was like Sidelines or whatever. He wrote about like his experience with the Packers, every dirty detail.
Okay.
And it was like, that was one book where the way it was written, I could imagine it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like, I never understood people be like, oh, the book's way better than the movie. It's like, fuck, no, it wasn't, because
The
they
movie-
wrote boobies. I saw boobies. All right,
The book
but
said
like,
the car exploded. I saw an
I saw- yeah.
explosion. Yeah.
so like being able to portray that imagination or like really expand somebody's imagination, like you can't just write a fucking book or a short story in a month.
right.
And I think the fact that you're, in this depth, in this trance of, this thinking and trying to write every day is big time. It's a big time, like
Yeah.
the amount of times our brain bounces thought to thought, like being able to put a little bit of that down on paper is big.
Thank you.
I say great job.
Like, how
Thank you.
often do you fucking hold on to a thought? I think about one thing, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, fucking...
Half the time I'm spaced out for like 10 minutes. Like, what the hell was I even
Yeah.
thinking
Exactly.
about?
No, I-
yeah.
And that, yeah, no, I agree. That's how usually I am, and it's just I would like to not think. I would like to try to, those like those down moments. You're like, what the fuck was I thinking about for like 5 minutes there? I would like to have those 5 minutes be like I zone out, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta like kind of like jot down the idea that I was.
Put it together.
It might not be exactly, a zoned perfectly outlined idea of 5 minutes of zoned outness, but it's a few
Imagine
thoughts.
that. Imagine that.
every
Being
time you zoned out,
and you just wrote down.
you wrote-
Because we've all had
The
those
shit
times.
that goes through my
especially
head. I
like
swear to
after a
God.
fucking good session of vitamins, and
Dude.
then all of a sudden, like,
Hey.
you just come to and you're like, I think I've been staring at my fucking dick for 4
just
4 hours, dude.
Just think about when we have computers implanted in us, and every thought we think is recorded down on
I
a
don't
hard
want to
drive.
think about that.
And then
That's-
we have to go and be responsible for that heart, and we have to go and talk to someone.
You think
Yeah,
that'd be
but-
a real thing?
I think
I don't want to ever be held accountable for my fucking
I don't.
thoughts.
I don't think we'll ever. I don't think
No
we'll.
way.
Ever,
Come on, Carl.
I don't
Hold
think we'll
yourself
have to
Oh,
be.
fuck you. You're right there with me.
I don't think we'll ever be sat down and be like, all right, so you thought this, this, and this. But I do think that eventually one future day, like, we won't have to carry around laptops anymore. We'll have a laptop implanted in our arm,
Ah.
and all we have to do
I
is
will
like
die
all right,
before that day happens.
think about Word, All right, word is up. All right, now.
And my dick
And then
has
you
been
just-
up.
And you
For-
close your eyes and you're like, all right, now I'm thinking about my story.
Oh, fuck that.
You
See?
know, like that, I
think
think
about the word up.
I think
How
eventually.
many thoughts does that bring into your head?
Exactly.
Whether
No.
it's, I don't want to fucking know what my brain's thinking all the time.
Well,
No.
That's what.
That's when I bury.
I think that's a good one. I'm thinking like, what was I thinking about for like the last 5 years? Like, it's probably
Probably.
But
a good thing
yeah,
I didn't think
remember.
about
But
that.
but we're just the lowest level of humans at this point. In
Peasants.
we're just peasant humans. In 100, 200 years, humans will evolve
Okay,
to
fuck
where your thoughts can't even be incorrect. You have to have the correct thoughts 100% of the
And
time.
I'm glad I'm not that fucking life right now, dude.
Me too. All right, so that was me about writing a little bit. I had a few good ideas, some thoughts I wrote down. I honestly did. I didn't do my own. After work I would hang out with my dog, walk my dog, play with him, get his energy out a little bit, and then I would write.
Take care of the kids.
Take care of the kids, and then I would write for myself, and then do the things I want to do. So
I call that successful.
I did feel good about it. I did feel good as my intentions were there and they were in the mindset of writing.
Can we all agree that like putting Herc before you're writing is important?
Oh yeah. Well,
that's
no.
not. That's
if
like,
I don't
that's
do that,
good.
I
Yeah.
won't be able to write at all because
Yeah, I was
you'll
gonna
just
say
sit.
like that's like having a kid. You gotta take Herc out and let that fucker. run
Yeah,
around.
no. I do that as
All right.
soon as I'm done with work. He's the first thing.
I was just
that
making sure you
gets-
weren't like, oh, I didn't
Oh,
write
no,
before I
no.
took Herc out.
No,
It's like,
no.
no. You take Herc out first.
No, yeah, it was just kind of a breakdown of the day. Like get done work, kind of free the brain of just I get to hang out with my dog, relax.
So is that like your like that moment after work when you get to just kick it with the dog and take a walk or play like is that kind of like your like exhale of the day, like that?
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
you know
it's
what I
like a
mean?
mini. All right, my work day's done. I'm about to get my the night on. What am I trying to do tonight? And usually it's like, all right, walk the dog, play with him, get his energy out. And because he's such a good dog, he sleeps all day. He doesn't bug me. He doesn't bark at me. So it's like I want to.
He deserves it.
He deserves.
He's a living
to-
being
You
who
got
loves
to.
you.
He
I mean,
deserves to
that's part of having
Take him
a
to a
dog.
park and run him around
Oh, yeah.
until he's.
That's what I
sleeping.
wanted to. You know what my exhale moment is of the day? My drive home.
Drive home, huh?
And this is it's not sad. This isn't a sad thought to me, but like I show up to work 6 a.m. and I turn on power machines. And those machines don't turn off till
yeah.
4. So for 8 to 10 hours a day I just hear like piercing loud fucking noises. And when I drive home, I don't put the fucking radio on. I don't even turn the air on.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
And to me this question. So when I'm done with work, I don't want to look at another computer. I don't want to sit down and look at a computer. I really don't. I have no interest. And that's why like writing to me has been a hard thing because when I'm done working, I don't want to sit down and look at another computer. So when you're done working with those machines and you've got the loud noises out of your head, is like a little bit with like doing the milk jug thing. Like, all right, now I have to go home and start sanding, and it's just loud. It's another machine that I'm using. It's like, is there the similarities kind of?
It is in different senses and selfishly.
Well, for sure.
Like if woodworking is a passion of mine.
Okay.
And luckily enough, my work hasn't completely tainted it. But
Okay.
like there are days where like I have projects like moving into this new house, like I have a lot of projects that I want to work on, redoing dressers and this and that. And this is where I says when I say selfishly. So I'm doing this milk jug. And God bless this for my grandfather. Of course I want to get this done.
Right.
But I sand and I make shit all day for other people.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
So exactly what you said. When I get home, it's like I want to put some time into this. And it even comes looking at like at my dresser, like I want to work on this. But it does, and that's where I kind of turn a little ill eye towards my work, because it does bring down a little bit of my passion for the craft I love, because it's like, I don't want to turn on a sander. I literally have spent 11 hours of this day listening to noises, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I do. That's what I do all fucking day. You guys have to realize that.
You don't want to turn on another power tool.
Well, like to the point where like I have to wear either my headphones, and if I forget my headphones, like I have to wear earplugs, because all day it's just fucking. And so that 25 minutes, and this is what I say, this 25 minutes I get on my way home is my bliss, because it's silent other than the noises my car makes.
Yeah.
You know, like, but
definitely.
it's beautiful, because as soon as I get home, knowing myself, I'm not going to go just sit on the couch. I can't.
Right.
Especially now that I'm by myself, I can't just go sit on the couch. Like, I'm either going to go mow the lawn, I'm either going to go sand something, build something, or, you know, take a ride on my longboard and listen to music. Because I need that fucking... I need that.
Yeah.
I need noise. I need action. I need movement for me to feel like my anxiety isn't eating me to fucking death. And as soon as silent hits, like, say I'm by myself, like, as soon as I get home and it's silent, and I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yep.
What now? But
Yep.
that ride home from work, silence is beautiful. It's like I exhale, and then I get home, and it's like, all right, we're back at it. Let's go. What are we going to do?
Yep.
You know, so it's like that I get 30 minutes of bliss.
I
And
get it.
I will be
100%.
deaf. I guarantee you guys, I will not be able to hear anything you guys say by the time I'm 40 years old.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And I probably won't be able to smell or anything.
So, with that being said, how has your monthly challenge milk jug challenge gone? You wanted to sand the milk jug down and repaint it, right?
You know, it's got good, actually. Like, I think with this is, like, progress is what motivates me. So, like, took me a while, obviously. It's been something I've been supposed to do for as long as Grandpa will say I was supposed to be doing this.
Wow.
But finally, like, I got sanding on it, and everything was going smooth. The paint was coming off, and, like, I almost have the whole milk jug completely stripped. And now I'm at it, like, an in-between point where it's like, so I talked to Grandpa, and I was like, hey, I sanded the whole thing down. He's like, you didn't sand my fucking painting off, did you?
Right.
And I was like, no, I did hold off on that, but it's rusting behind the painting. It's peeling. So I took, like, 10 pictures of every angle of the painting so I can sand it off and then just repaint it.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's what the big man upstairs wants me to
Well,
do. So, like,
well, I mean,
but if I you know, at the end of the day,
You can. I mean,
you want me to refinish this whole thing and not refinish your painting, then your paint's gonna mold out. So
right, because then it's, if you don't redo the painting, the picture part, then that's
Yeah.
gonna rust away and turn to shit, and then the rest of the jug will be
I'm gonna sand that
perfect.
whole fucking thing down by the end of next week.
repaint it.
Yeah, like I got it basically bald, and then it's gonna be the first time in my life where I actually, like, have to test out the artistic abilities, like, for somebody else.
Do a
Paint the same picture.
or I mean, Do we know anybody that's pretty good at painting that might be able to look at a picture and paint on the milk
We
jug?
just might.
I'm willing to duo up.
Or but I don't know. I also I don't know if you were wanting to try to do it yourself.
I mean, I can paint. I'm an artistic guy. I'm more than willing to get some fucking tips from a guy who.
Well, I mean,
no,
I don't know a whole lot. I'm not a painter, by any expertise.
Yeah, I mean, you only just left your painting that you're supposed to work on at my house.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he wanted to
Yes.
put in some oranges and purples and
Yeah.
yellows,
Yeah.
but
Tell you what,
We
you
forgot
smoke
it.
enough vitamins. There's a bunch of purples and yellows up in that bitch.
But if I had one thing to say, you don't necessarily have to scrape off the entire painting. You can touch it up.
Well,
It's a possibility.
okay, so let me ask you this.
I guess I don't know.
It's
these.
bubbling. Rusting. So it's peeling off. It's
Yeah.
I thought it was feasible, but it's the paint on the main portrait is bubbling, it's rusting. So either I repaint everything but the picture and the picture rots out. I'm confident in myself where I could remake that mural. But it's
Yeah. I mean, if you can do it, you can do it. I believe in you, buddy.
I do.
Or
Yeah, no,
I
I
can-
I think you
or-
could do it. I think you could do
I
it.
can just
You-
repaint. No, I can do it.
You seemed
You can do
seemed
it.
a little unconfident in yourself. That was the only reason you seemed
No,
a little
but
apprehensive to start the paint.
I'm not
I mean, it's
to be honest,
a tall order. I mean,
I'm not I'm not.
Y-
I'm confident in myself.
okay.
I think what I hold myself back on is does the person I'm doing this work for, whether it's the person I'm doing this project for or any project, do you trust me to do it? And I think that's where I hold myself back, where it's I
I
know
see.
I can fucking do this.
I see.
I can paint a fucking barn with a fucking silo. Trust me, I can.
Yeah.
But do you trust me? And if you don't trust me, then I fucking am going to be nitpicky.
I think you
I
should
mean,
do it.
yeah.
I
Where,
think you should do it
honestly,
yourself.
the project I'm doing right now, I know the work I do is going to either be, oh, that's awesome, or, oh, I should have just fucking done it myself. You know,
Yeah.
I know my two outcomes.
And either way, the
And I know what the
outcome is-
best outcome is, okay, do you want me to just not do it and let a beautiful paint job around your rotting paint job go? Or,
Right.
I can just redo everything for you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Enough about my
No, I
fucking
think you
paint.
should
Can I
do
have a
it.
bush light?
No, I think you should do it. I think you can do it too.
I
yeah,
fully
I
think
believe
could
in you,
do it.
buddy.
I believe, yeah, and that
Thank you.
and that
Thank
yeah,
you.
I know you could do it. I mean, look at how beautiful that fucking thing is right up there.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
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 So
You got this.
Carl's got his milk jug. I got a story. Shamo's got the gym.
We're working on the gym.
Shamo, how's the gym been going?
I went to the gym.
You went to the gym.
I got a membership.
You got a membership.
I
got a
went to the
membership.
gym.
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Baby.
Black
Before you
black
s-
membership or
Just the regular.
Just the regular.
Just the regular. Nothing fancy.
Okay, so I can't work out with you.
What's
Why not?
So if you're
Well,
black,
I'd have to drive to your gym
what's the black membership
or the
So,
black card versus
Oh,
the
so you
standard.
can work out anywhere there's a Planet Fitness if you have a black card.
The black card membership, you can work out anywhere. The standard is the gym you sign up at.
Which one do you go to?
I got the black card, baby.
Oh, yo,
I
that's
can
true.
go anywhere.
So he's
I,
in fucking Bellevue and Alloway and,
I,
and Milwaukee.
I go to the one actually right over here, just right on.
Oh,
Soon to be by the East
yeah,
Town Mall.
I signed up on the fucking west side.
Because
that's
where the Toys R Us was.
Yeah, where the Toys R Us was. Yeah.
Oh,
'cause
okay. I know. Yeah,
So is that
yeah.
place just giant?
pretty big?
It's pretty
You
big.
doing
it's,
fucking
it's really
crunchies
nice.
on giraffes or what?
Oh yeah.
Like Toys R Us
From
shit?
the rafters.
Hippopotamuses
From-
and
Hip
From the
hop.
rafters, yeah.
but no, so I signed up for the gym. I went to the gym once last week. I know we talked about this. I was feeling a little ill for the last week or so. No excuses, but I went once, and I think the thing that's holding me back is I don't
No excuses, but
I need to figure out a schedule because one, I
You're
am not,
fucking retired, guy.
Well, no, not even that. I am not experienced with like workouts
Sure.
and
Okay.
the routine and like the different exercises. So I need to go with somebody that knows like what they're doing. And I'm going with our buddy Nate, and we went last week. And I just need to figure out either a schedule with him or anybody, and or learn this exercise by myself, because that's what's holding me back at this point, because like
It's a
I could-
routine. What to do every day.
yeah it's like I could go by myself, but I'm not gonna know what the fuck I'm doing. I could go lift some stuff
So
but
like I could write up like a weekly routine for like a very just like not basic in turn, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Do you think like
a
if
beginner just like
he were to show you a routine and then write it up,
yeah
so you get like the how to,
yeah
and then
because I also
here's the
struggle
sheet.
with like I mean there's whole form and
Form
there's
and
there's
everything, yep.
things
Yeah.
that go into do it properly.
No, I'm
that
right there
I
with
have
you.
no idea.
I know form, but I don't know a fucking routine.
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? Like that's I looked at Max the same, or looked towards him like, hey, you got to bring me to the gym and show me the way you fucking do shit. Like
Yeah.
I know form, but I don't know how to put. I don't know what daily routine. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah. So I guess that's where I'm stuck at. But I got a membership. I went to the gym
Hey,
once
that's-
last
shout
week.
out, dude.
That's a big
We're
thing,
working on
man.
it.
That's a big thing.
It was pretty rough. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
Yeah. Did you hit the
I-
bar after?
I was a little hungover still. And,
Seamus is always holding the.
But I went and man, after that first exercise, I was like the whole we were doing, I don't know, like back and shoulders. I did the first exercise, like I can't feel my arms.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
And
think
another
he
thing is,
he was like, we got 8 more to go. And I'm like,
No.
See, another
we might
thing-
not.
another thing is learning how to like. You go with a brand new person who's been going every day. You have to learn your own pace, your own reps.
Yeah.
You don't have to just bust out and go do fucking 8 reps of 10.
Yeah,
You
and,
know?
and I mean, honestly, that part was fine. It actually going, it felt really good. I forgot how good it feels to go to the gym and work out afterwards. Like, I mean, to get your body moving, it feels great. I was definitely feeling it, sore, still kind of sore
For sure.
but it felt good, and like it makes me want to go back, but I just got to figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, good for you, bud.
So
You got there, you
Absolutely.
signed up, you went to the gym.
I mean,
Way more than you did last week.
for the last 2 years.
last 2 years. I mean, everything I did this week was way more than I did last week. So like,
exactly.
and
We're
you as well,
we're
man.
doing more than we did the week before.
Every day, everything you do, if you're taking a step forward, that's not a step back.
That's a good thing. We're working on it.
Anytime
We're
you,
working
anytime
on
you move, every achievement deserves to be a little bit celebrated.
True.
Whether it's signing up for the gym, even if you didn't go, so you didn't go, signed up for the gym. I got a membership now. I didn't have a membership last week. You went once this week. Fucking A, I
Yeah.
haven't gone once to the gym in the past 2 years. Fucking achievement.
Yeah.
Fucking A, I sanded down on this milk jug that I've had for 2.5 months. Got it all sanded down. I wrote and spent more time dedicated to writing than I have since I've thought about it.
Yep.
Achievements.
Achievements.
Little
by
things.
Little by little.
Little things.
And it's everything starts small. Everything starts with a short, small, you meet a person for the first time. Talk about the weather. Those short conversations. Small conversations that mean nothing, maybe. But then maybe you get to know that person. Started with talking weather.
And then you
Next
make
thing
it
you know.
rain on their face.
Goddamn, I was really trying to. See, you start small and then you're making it rain on people. Goddamn, I was really.
All right, so that was my
You got
time
me
to
back.
cut off
Yeah,
Kärel.
there you go. You got me back on that one. All right. We're gonna move on.
The monthly challenge,
No, that was-
ladies, and work
I-
in progress. Everybody's doing
I think
great.
I feel how you felt, man. I was about to go. All right, I'm gonna put a song on.
Everybody's killing it. Everybody's doing great. I'm proud of both of you.
All right.
Oh, this.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Let's put this bitch back on. Yeah. So Max cut me off. I cut him off. All the probably best conversations you were gonna have in this podcast is now gone. So
Going forever.
we're gonna go down. We're gonna go to mental health now because I feel fucking mentally disabled. Mentally not well. I'm sorry.
Talk about it, folks.
Ladies and
We all
gentlemen,
got problems, obviously.
it's episode 37 of Hold Us Accountable. Who's gonna talk first, right?
Oh, golly. Let's get into a little mental health talk, huh?
Sure.
Well, we could go mental health, or we
Yeah.
could go.
No, we're there. We're
let's
here.
do it. All right.
I still got a verse of dictionary. God damn.
Yeah, we gotta.
All right. So I want to talk to you guys. All right.
Let's hear it. Lay it on me.
I don't have a quote, but I did watch a podcast or a TED Talk today, and it was called "How to Not Be Anxious About Your Anxiety."
Yep.
And it was this guy who talked about his early struggles in life with anxiety, and if any of you have ever struggled with anxiety, it can be paralyzing. It can be fucking straight up paralyzing. Really can.
Yeah, and we'll put the link to this video in the show topics,
Yeah.
so people can listen to it.
Yeah, and it's this guy kind of talked about how early in life he just struggled with anxiety to the point where it was social anxiety for him, where he couldn't leave the house, he couldn't have conversations with people, and he went on to start taking medications and start trying to cope with it in the medical field ways, and then it kind of turned out where he just opened up about it, started talking to people about it, and that got him kind of talking to himself. And this is where this part of the TED Talk kind of hit me, where I'm a person, and I don't know whether you guys deal with it or not, I'm a guy who I feel like I have a million voices inside my head every fucking day I live. I constantly hear voices, not voices, but like myself or my internal human. I hear people talking to me or talking and whether it's kind of forming circumstances or something. There's always some voice in my head. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you have a voice in your head?
Yeah. I mean, like something that gets you going, and it just like, I mean, it's all about like coming up with irrational situations. Like, I think about situations that probably will never happen, or like in my head, I'm like, this is what's happening, like this, like and like makes me anxious. I'm like, that maybe this is what people are thinking. Maybe this is what.
Yeah,
is going on.
And this guy, and I think and so this guy got talking about that, like how these voices, and he ended up calling them like this is my crew inside my head. This is say I'm on a boat, say I'm sailing, or I'm on a fucking crab boat. This is everybody inside of my head is a part of my crew. And when you get to a point where you start avoiding these voices or avoiding these people, avoiding the people who are part of your crew, that's when shit starts getting messy. When you hear these not so well thoughts, you hear these circumstances that maybe necessarily aren't true, and instead of hearing them out or really letting it be vocal, burying them, that's when shit starts getting sticky. And this guy started talking about how anxiety isn't, and the way he put it, is not a mental illness, it's an emotion. And without anxiety, we wouldn't exist. Anxiety is the thing that wakes you up before your alarm goes off because you have to get up. Anxiety is the thing that gets you to your family's function 5 minutes before it starts because you're anxious because you want to make sure you're there so everybody looks at you like you're there on time. Anxiety is the thing that wakes you up after a night of drinking that says, hey, drink a glass of water, take some ibuprofen, because in 4 hours, you're going to feel like shit if you don't do that. Anxiety is an emotion. It's an action. It's a part of your brain that without it, where would we be without anxiety? Think about this. Everything you fucking do in life involves anxiety. Whether it's in a minimal source or a overwhelming source. You have to get home or you have to get done with work to take care of Hercules because Hercules has been wound up all day. And anxiety is that thing that shows you and tells you, I have to make sure I get Hercules outside to play so he's okay before I... Because if you didn't let Hercules out before you went on with your life, you'd have anxiety because Hercules is fed up.
Right.
So this is the first time I ever listened to something and I realized, and not realized, but thought about that anxiety it is an emotion.
Mm.
And everything you fucking do is anxiety. And for some people, it's to a max. It's to a point where, like, it can be paralyzing. And when it gets to that point, listening to what I listened to today kind of explained to me was not allowing yourself to listen to that anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing yourself to listen to anxiety is the only opportunity to allow yourself to speak, in a sense. To you hear and whether you want to admit it or not, and I'll admit it, I have constant thoughts throughout the day that are bad thoughts, good thoughts, sad thoughts, terrible thoughts that I don't want anybody else to know.
Oh, yeah.
That just are, I can't help but, I can't help it.
Those thoughts you feel like fucking drowning yourself for having.
And that's exactly.
Yeah.
And what this man said on this podcast was it. And I'm not a guy who just listens to shit and it's like, all right, that's right. That's what I have to do. You know, that makes sense. I'm a doubtful human being where I have my thoughts. People can say what they want about their thoughts, and it's like, you don't compare. But what this guy was saying meant something. Made me think a little bit, where he said, if you don't listen to your thoughts, if you don't let your thoughts be heard, then they're going to fucking yell.
Right.
If you don't have those bad thoughts and at least give it a second to think about it, those thoughts are going to yell.
Right.
Those thoughts are going to say, hey, you ignored me because I'm a bad thought? Wake up, motherfucker. I'm still here until you fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And what he was saying was, give him a time to speak. Give those dark thoughts, those terrible thoughts you have during the day, or the happiest thoughts. Give every thought you have, every thought that is driven with anxiety, a chance to speak in your mind. Because we've all had those thoughts where we've walked through the day and we've had thoughts that are like, I should not be thinking about this. This is terrible. If anybody else thought that I thought about, knew that I thought about this, I'd be looked at like the worst human.
Right.
So you bury that. You don't even give it a chance. You don't give it sunlight. You fucking bury it and bury it deep. And what happens? It surfaces after a while,
Yeah.
right?
I guess my anxiety is different. I guess for me, like though the thoughts you were talking about, like I've had them. I know they're a part of just me personally, and just I don't know. My brain will think about some random crazy shit, and I'll be like, "Well, that's pretty crazy." Like, all right, but that's not like I would never act upon that. But it is weird that I thought that. Sure, and I keep living my life. I don't push them away. So like I get, but I do understand where. So that, but just that small aspect that you were saying that you just talked about is different for me. But basically everything else in terms of just the anxieties and the thoughts of all anxieties, like every anxiety you have from waking up and like, oh, I'm not doing enough. When you just wake up and you're like, man, I should have woke up 40 minutes ago and done X, Y, or Z, and you're starting the day off on a bad note already just because you're telling yourself you're lazy already, and you just woke up and you're like, I'm fucking lazy, and you just woke up and you're like, it's like, damn, can I have like a couple minutes to be okay with myself? But the bad thought anxieties for me personally, I don't think I've ever gotten over, like, it's always weird when you have like,
So you don't have any not continuous, but like you don't have a thought that has popped up more than once that you've buried just because you just don't want to think about it.
well, yeah, oh yeah, no, I mean, you have fucked up dreams that, I've never told anyone that are crazy,
Yeah,
and that just pop up, and
yeah.
But at the same time, I don't ever like say that that's not that it's not that it didn't happen. I never tell myself that didn't happen. Like that's not a real. That I didn't really dream about that. That's not me. I go, oh, whew, that's a weird dream, and that's gonna stick with me for a bit. But like, what can I do about it? Nothing. I had like I can't control a dream that I just had it, and you just and it's not so much that you bury it or you never think about it, but like, yeah, a dream to me and a thought are like almost the same thing. It's like, so like I just have thousands of thoughts a day. I can't control every single one that I have. It's just sometimes you have a crazy thought and you go, oh, okay, all right, hold on, and then you try to stop the thought from snowballing, but it still does, and you go, oh Jesus, this is a little too much. I really don't want to be thinking about this
I guess
right
what
now.
I want to ask you guys, because before this, I never thought about it this way. Have you guys ever thought that it was okay to have anxiety? Because anxiety to me, my whole life has been
like a negative thought.
It's always been anxiety has always been negative.
Yeah.
And I'm not a guy who listens to shit and usually is like, oh, this is life changing. And what I listened to wasn't life changing, but it made me really think that I have fucking struggled with anxiety heavily my whole life.
Mm-hmm,
And it's always been nothing but paralyzing. And before what I heard today, I never even thought about it as an emotion, a regular thing. Have you ever thought about your anxiety? Have you ever had anxiety to the point where you're just like don't know what the fuck to do? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just like whether it's
crippling. I've had crippling,
and it can be
before.
normal sober brain anxiety, or to me sometimes I take too many vitamins and it's crippling.
Oh, yeah.
But like I've never thought about anxiety as like you can't live without it. You wouldn't think without it. How is any realistic, accurate thought determined without anxiety? Because you're not being cautious without anxiety, right? Anxiety causes cautiousness.
That's a weird.
I guess
like it's interesting. It's weird, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's fucking bizarre.
no, and yeah, I think again before I saw the video, it's not that didn't think about it, and every thought I have is anxiety. I thought about it in terms of more of like every thought I have is an analyzation. And sometimes you overanalyze and you overthink, and that's my anxiety. But sometimes I think about it enough and the right amount, and it's not anxiety. It's just thinking through a kind of like his exam. He's like, your anxiety is you read an email before you send it. No, that's just proofreading. That's not anxiety. Like, to me, I'm not saying everyone else, but to me, it's just like I splat words and a thought
But why
down.
are you proofreading?
Because I just splat, like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I just have these words, I throw them down. And then you read it over and you go, okay, this sentence doesn't make sense. This sounds a little too this way. I really don't think this. It just, I guess my initial thoughts came out that way, but let me rewrite it so it's more conducive to the person I'm talking to. Like, to me, that's not anxiety. That's just communication. That's like an email is different than a face-to-face talk. Face-to-face communication, I get anxiety. Where I, like...
Because you can't go back and...
Because I can't go back and rewrite. I can't, like, my initial thoughts...
But that's the same thing with the email. You can't go back and rewrite it, so you rewrite it before you have to go back and rewrite it.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, that's not anxiety. To me, that's just an email.
Yeah.
To me, that's just... I'm sending an email. Okay, I rewrite it.
But why would you have to double check it with us?
You're anxious about how you sound originally, so you have to go back and change it.
But maybe,
but
maybe
it's not like the,
But that's what I'm-
anxiousness where you're like, oh, like,
But that's
I don't
what I'm
feel
saying,
okay,
like-
but like you're like, maybe I should go back and double check this because.
But
you
like,
know.
but like, being anxious about,
What's anxiety to you?
so that's what, like, if I had to, like, send an email to, like, a boss about wanting a promotion, and I wrote it, and I rewrote it, and I analyzed it, and I
Yeah.
oh, there we go.
Stay.
And I reanalyzed it, and I retyped it, and I erased it all, and I rewrote it, and I, like, that is anxiety to me, where it's like I have a goal in mind, and I just want to convey my goal conducively, where I don't come off as pushy, where I don't come off as, not
Douchey?
Yeah. But in terms of just like, if any email I send, I'll just read and double check. It's not even like
Maybe it's habit more
it's
than
just a
anxiety.
habit more than anxiety. Exactly. So to me, the anxiety comes in with like the intentions of the email. The intent. Okay, what am I trying to
words you're
convey?
saying.
What am like, or the circumstances of the email, or a text message even. If I'm
So
like,
that's where like your anxiety would be.
the social circumstances
Okay,
are
see,
my
that-
anxiety.
That makes sense to me of what you're saying now. Where
Okay,
it's like
yeah.
that makes sense to me. It's like how am I coming off?
Right.
Maybe you're not double checking it because of how you're coming off. Maybe the non-anxiety part. It's like, am I putting this right? Is this sounds right? This sounds
Right. It's like
professionally
I just got to
correct,
make sure
right?
my grammar's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to. I got to make sure your grammar's correct. You just double check grammar. It's like,
And at the end of the day, somebody could say like, "Well, that's anxiety."
sure. And
Anything
absolutely.
could be anything. But like,
Absolutely.
you saying that makes sense to me.
But it doesn't make me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me like pause my whole day. It just goes, okay, I'm sending an email. All right, did I? Okay, I spelt everything right. Puncture looks
Can
good.
I ask
Yeah.
a personal question, you guys?
Yeah.
What have you guys ever felt paralyzing anxiety?
Yes.
And what if you care to share? I don't care if you do or not, but like, what could that be to you?
What could that be?
Like, how could that? How could that? Because I felt it
Oh yeah.
multiple.
I feel it in a lot of like social situations I'm not comfortable in, or like, or like around people that maybe I don't know a lot, but like I get a lot of social anxiety.
Yeah.
It's better nowadays, but like for a long time, I'd say in my earlier years when I didn't really know who I was, or didn't really stand up for myself in situations, or like couldn't really express my own feelings or like my own thoughts and opinions on things because I
Yeah.
was worried about what other people were feeling or like
Yeah.
were thinking. Like
Like you based your own.
yeah, it's yeah, and I mean I still get anxiety too. There's certain situations that
100%.
trigger it for sure, and like for the most part, you know, I've calmed down, but I definitely do get crippling anxiety. I definitely have bad nights of sleep because I can't stop thinking about things. There's
Yeah.
definitely times when I'm out in public and like I can't even get a word out.
Yeah.
There's times where I'm like, you know, like shaking
Yeah.
because I get such bad anxiety.
100%, dude.
Mhm.
And it's I mean, for me, like, it's so personal sometimes, like where
Yeah.
it's like,
I
it's
get
never-
anxiety about having anxiety.
and that's fucking. That's what it is, dude.
That's a big part of the video. That
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
it's
was
like
talking about.
it's like to me at this point in my life, I grew up in the same where my anxiety was driven at a young age by just trying to fit in. You know, just trying to be the person I thought people wanted to be around. You know, that was anxiety for me where it's like, you know, I hung out with a lot of people who were a little older than me. To me, back in the day, it was like, they're old. They're seniors. I'm a fucking sophomore.
Oh yeah.
You know, and to me, it was like a lot of self-reflection, a lot of like, I have to act a certain way and that was anxiety.
Oh yeah.
And to me, and that's petty anxiety. And now being a grown adult, it's like, oh, I have this own voice in my head now that's doubting me
right.
with every fucking thing I do, and I have to choose what I get to accept as anxiety or not. You know, like, and at the end of the day, right now, like I have struggled. Like anxiety is probably, you know, my family struggled with depression. You know, I have a family full of people who take depression meds and anxiety meds and all this fucking medication to make you a normal human being. You know what I mean? And I hated that. Still do. I mean, I don't hate it. But I've never been a guy who's like, okay, I have to take a certain amount of pills a day to be normal. So I think that's what my anxiety is driven off of right now, where it's like, I've been through shit. I go through shit. I think about shit that gives me anxiety every fucking single day. And what gives me more anxiety is how I want to deal with my anxiety. Because I don't want to take meds. I hate the thought of me being on medication for being anxious. Because I feel it's a natural human instinct to be anxious about shit. And I feel like I should be able to figure out a natural human instinct to cope. You know what I mean? And that gives me anxiety. I think growing older it is the hardest thing because it gets real. It's not petty bullshit anymore. It's not high school getting along with people. It's being a human being at a point where it's like, how can I cope in an environment where I feel like I'm fucking having a panic attack 90 times out of 100%? You know, like, and how can I deal with this without falling into the same category as my family has, where it's like, fuck it, pop a pill at the start of the day, and then, you can't go to bed? Pop a fucking trazodone before bed, you know? Like, I don't want to be that person. You know, like, I've been leaning off my meds, the shit I take nowadays, just because I want to feel what it's like to be an organic human again. And that gives me the most anxiety. So it's like, it's basically like fighting fire with fire at this point in my life, where it's like, how the fuck do you deal with anxiety when
You don't know how to deal with it.
you don't know how to deal with it and all you have is it? So like, what do I do? Like at this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking insane.
I'll say, because I mean, like, You still deal with it a lot. Like, I still have tons of anxiety. Not to the quite as... When I was younger, it was worse. Like, to me, you get to a point where it gets so bad that you just go, but, like, why? And I don't, like, I still go through ups and downs. Like, I still have anxiety. I don't not have it, and I don't not, because, like, you do something and you're in the process of doing something and you think, like, why am I doing? I should be doing something else. So then you stop what you're doing and you start doing that other thing, and then you're thinking, well, why did I stop doing that other thing? I was halfway done, and then I just started this thing. Why am I starting this? I should finish that. And then you go and try to finish that, and you're like, well, and it's like this never-ending cycle of I'm not doing the right thing at the right time, and you're constantly trying to do the right thing at the exact right time. And that never, for me, has never really gone away. It's more of I've gotten to the point where, like, it's inescapable, and everything I do is never going to be good enough unless I've hit that perfect equilibrium.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not, like, it's hard. It's not just like a snap my fingers and shit's going to be...
You can't really
or you
force it to go away.
Or you make one life move and you're at that equilibrium you want. Like, sure, maybe some people can do it, or some people get it with money, or like you hit that perfect job, right? You find your perfect job, or you've hit that perfect milestone mark in a job, or whatever it is that you are working towards, right? Like, you're working towards something. You're always working towards something. And we're just, like, I've kind of, in a crude way, just accepted the fact that I'm always going to be working towards something.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, my job that I have right now I don't like, and I wish I was doing something else, but try to make the most of it and just get it. That's getting away from what you were talking about, but, like, yeah, dude, anxiety is just for me something that I don't know. It's just kind of it is an emotion. Like, when the dude said it, I was like, oh yeah, like, that's what it is.
It is.
It wasn't like I knew. It was like I heard it and I go, oh shit, like, because I've always known it's just a part of me. It, like, I've never had my anxiety. I remember in grade school thinking the shampoo I used would help, like, the friends I had, because I was so anxious about making friends, and just, like, I wanted, like, for whatever reason, I wanted some connection. And I, like, would have, if, like, the shampoo was empty or something, I would be anxious about that. Like,
Yeah.
that shit's been a part of me since I was 10 years old.
You don't have deodorant. You don't smell good that day. No one's going to want to talk to you.
Right.
Because you're going to be a piece of shit because of how you smell.
Your clothes look a little, my shirt is a little loose in,
Tell
this
me about
part. Like,
For me, it was always, I'm too short to hang out with these, like,
Yeah.
These girls don't want to hang out with me because I'm too short. They want to be, and then,
Right.
I mean, and then you hit levels with your anxiety or with your own being. Where, like, I hit a point where I was like, well, I'm the coolest. I have a great personality. All these other guys fucking are douchebags, dude. These girls love me. Doesn't matter if I'm short.
Right.
But
You
have to believe in yourself. But, like, yeah, being anxious is a pure emotion, dude. It's a pure emotion.
But, and the other thing he said was, like, not being able to put yourself, like, being able to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and don't let your anxiety say, well, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to run.
Yeah.
Like, he would say, like that was one of the, and I 100% am right there and totally get, like, I still to this day, if, like, someone says, hey, you want to go the event that I could go, the Packer event in September that I have the opportunity to go to, makes me anxious knowing, like, how many people are going to be, like, strangers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll know one person there. And that makes me anxious.
And I have that same thing, but I don't, and I don't know where this separates me or the way I think, because, so to say, go back, like, in high school, being a football player, our things we looked towards was volleyball games, and we'd dress up and we'd have this big theme and we'd have a party, and I somehow ended up being the guy who was like, I'd be the guy to go in front of the whole crowd and do the worm in the middle of the fucking gymnasium during a volleyball game, and everybody would fucking cheer and whatever. And you know, I'd have friends talk to me like, oh, that's awesome how you can do that and how you can just, you know, be free with yourself or whatever. And it's like, in my own head, it's like, that was just all anxiety ridden, where it's like, I want to just be something. So I do something, whether I'm comfortable with it or not. Like, I want to just be present, be there. I think for me, in my own anxiety, it was always like, I need to be a part of it. Because if I'm an outsider, if I'm not that a person that somebody knows, then I'm fucking an outcast, and I don't want to be around anybody. And there's my 10:45 alarm. You know, I gotta wake up. But that's
yeah, that's the thing. You got to put yourself in those positions that, like, you might not want to do, and your anxiety might tell you, this isn't for me. This isn't what I should be doing right now. But in your head, you're like, nah, like I still want to, like, go to this Packer thing. I still want to go, even though it's going to be weird and awkward. I still want to give it a shot and see what it's all about. Still want to do the worm in front of 100 people, because you got to know, like, I want to put myself out there.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an important part of it. I mean, I feel like that's what anxiety is, too.
It is.
Is doing stuff that you're not completely comfortable with, you know? And, like, I feel like that's where a lot of it comes from, when you're in a situation that's not comfortable to you, or, like, foreign to you, something you're not used to. You can feel, you don't know what to do, because you've never been in that situation. But I don't know.
I think the biggest thing I took out of this TED Talk that I listened to was he put it as allowing everybody else in your crew, like, and as the crew was like the voices in your head,
Right.
that anxiety in your head. And whether you guys have the mind like I do, where, like, I do have fucking voices in my head, not like psychotic, you know, like fucking trippy fucking voices. I have just voices in my head, whether it's my own voice
Telling you things that,
it's like the good, evil, bad, evil fucking people on your shoulders. I have that in my own head.
mm-hmm.
And this guy talked about where it's like, it's natural for people with anxiety to have that voice. And what's unnatural to those people who have that anxiety is to allow those voices to be heard. To allow those voices to say that fucked up shit you don't want to hear. You know, that fucked up thought you have that you hear and you're like, no. Go away. Stop. I don't want to hear that. I'm thinking it for some reason. I'm not meaning to, but I'm thinking it and I have to bury it. And what this guy was saying was, it's like, well, no. Hear it. Hear that fucked up shit. Hear every voice that yells at you Because if you don't allow that voice to just be heard, it's going to yell louder and louder and louder until it breaks you.
Right.
So I think this is my biggest challenge is like, I do struggle with that, where I do have that fucking good, see no evil, you're like, that fucking angel devil on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I bury thoughts. And I did take out of it where it's like, okay, just let everything be heard. Every thought you have, every bad, good, terrible, fantastic thought you have, just let it be out. Let it be in your brain. Let it be spoken for. Because if you allow every crew member in your brain to be spoken for and listened to, then you can deal with shit. But the more I've buried shit in my life, and the more I've buried every bad thought I've had, the harder it's been to deal with it. Because at the end of the day, every bad thought I've had has popped up more than once. Right? Popped up more than probably several times in my head.
Yeah.
But the more you listen to something, and you don't have to share it with anybody, but if you share it with yourself, you allow it to brew. You allow it to be surfaced in your brain. But you're like, okay, this is fucked up. This is a very fucked up thought.
So like, if you do, so before, and I don't know, like before this, before you heard this video, if you had like this a crazy thought, fucked up thought in your head, you just say, nope, not thinking about it, and you just put it aside and try to think about something new.
Try to.
Because, like, for me, anytime I have a fucked up thought, I go, whoa, that's really weird. And, like, I play out, it's almost like you play out a scenario in your head of, like.
But how dark are those scenarios? Like, how.
Oh, they're horrible. They're the worst. They're terrible. But then it's like, all right, woof, that was bad. Those are some low.
But then it's just gone for you? That's it?
It's not gone, but it's like, it's not like I dwell on the fact that I've had those thoughts. I think, like, man, like, I can't control that I just thought, about whatever crazy thought you've had in your head, I've had, I've had crazy.
Everybody has. Yeah.
But I've let those thoughts marinate, and I've let them go to the point where I go, like, this isn't okay. And then I just go, well, I've thought about it as basically as far as I can think about it. So what else? What am I supposed to be upset? Am I
no,
supposed to be
and that's exactly what I think. Exactly what your end determination is, like. Basically, what this you have.
No, so I was gonna say, like, yeah, exactly. But I only think that way for the worst of the worst thoughts. I never think that way.
What do you mean? Think that
I
in
never,
depth?
Yeah, like if it's an anxiety for me that. Say like starting a business, right? I really want to. Like, it's something that I've told people that I want to do, and the fact that I've told people makes it more of like, okay, now you have to do it. Like, you have to, because you've told people. But then I think, okay, I'll do it eventually, and I put it aside. I don't really think about it and marinate and like really indulge myself in thinking about. Like, I will think about the surface things of, like, oh, I'll be my own boss, and that'll be really great. I can do whatever I want.
Think of all the glory days of it.
But, yes, and I don't think about the dirty, the nitty-gritty, the getting down, the being broke for years and years before, but still following a passion and then breaking through. I don't let myself go to that extreme unless it's a bad thought, which then I will go to that extreme of getting into the nitty gritty and being like, whoa, that's like, dude, bro, like, what are you doing? That's too much.
Have you ever had those thoughts where it's like, maybe I should share this with somebody? Like, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe this is so fucked up that I should share this. But then it's like,
hey, man, yes.
No.
But I've also thought it's so fucked up that, like, other people have had to have the same line of thinking as me. Obviously, we all have our own like experiences, but the same line of thinking other people had to have had, because if they haven't, like, there's no way I'm this unique. I'm not this unique of a person.
And that's the biggest thing, dude, that we were talking about last week about like solutions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's solutions are the be all, you know, like the solutions are what needs to be done. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If we
And I
if we had
thought
all
about-
the solutions,
But I thought about
it'd be
this.
beautiful. But we don't.
And we
know?
thought about, and we talked about athletes speaking out, and we thought about all these people speaking out. And I thought about this hard last week. Hard. Where, at the end of the day, in my head, this is the biggest fucking movement we've made. Okay, we have athletes who are well capable and able to have any help that they need. They are financially stable to take care of anything they need to do because of their, whatever. But I don't think we thought as hard into it as the vocalness of athletes speaking out, of how important it is that this is just getting talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is step one. And this is what I've thought about this week is this is what needs to happen. People need to talk about it. People who are bigger than us, people that are bigger than the lower class, the people who can't afford it, can't afford the help.
Don't have a platform to
The talk.
speak out, talk about it.
The okayness of being mentally unstable is the first step, man. And we're not going to be able to fucking look on the internet and figure out the next steps. And I will continue to try and forever try until we find the next step, because it will come. But I think the vocalness and the just the out, people coming out, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or whether it's, people from the Olympics or whether it's this person or that person, it being talked about is important, is the biggest importance of it all, man. Like, like I've said endless times on this show, I've lost friends because they couldn't talk about it.
Yeah, or even if all you do is just speak to someone, like if you have
going on walks with the guy who
going on walks with the dude. If you have a roommate, like I remember I lived by myself for a little while, and then I got a roommate, and he was a close friend through work, and we were tight through work, and then we lived together. And like I remember, like he had a separate job, and he'd do that, and it was like the best. I was like, yes, I have my apartment to myself. And he'd come home, and I'd be like, fuck, like I don't want to talk to, like I just want to be by myself. But I'd be having like a shit day, like I'd be in my head all day, just like depressed and like anxious about shit. And like I just kind of say like start talking a little bit, like maybe say something about sports. And then you just like a conversation rolls, and I just would start talking about my day or whatever, and he would start talking about it. And like as soon as like I said some shit, I was like immediately better. I wasn't like bummed out about my day anymore. It didn't even matter. The fact that I just like said something, it didn't change what happened earlier in the day, but it was just like out of my head. It was just
letting it out. And to what you were saying, and like one of the things I think, like last week we talked about, like what can people who don't have the resources do to improve their mental health. I really think it's just talking. Like honestly,
It is.
like talking to a friend and saying like, "Hey, like, my day was weird. Like, I just had a weird day because of this." Like, or even say like, "You don't have to say anything. You don't have to respond to me. You don't have to acknowledge that I even talked to you. But can you just like look at me while I talk for like a minute?" And then once it's done, if you feel like saying anything, sure. But I just need to say something. like, I don't know. Maybe that's all it could take.
And that's
Yeah.
the biggest fucking step, man.
I mean, like going back to what you said about like you got the voices in your head. I mean, like you going back and forth thinking about things. The angel and the devil. But like sometimes like you're talking about just like letting it out and thinking about it. Sometimes people don't have that angel side. Maybe they just have that devil side. You know what I mean? They only have the bad.
Yeah.
And that's part about talking to someone, because maybe somebody else has something to put into it. You know what I mean? Somebody else has some of that angel side to
Right.
like some
Yeah.
of that other things.
Hey, just think about it this way.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think that's a huge part about just reaching out to somebody and talking about it, letting it out, and like you said, if they want to say something back or not, but like at least you let it out. And if it was like crazy enough to the point where like they have to say something, like they would say something. You know what I mean?
And sometimes you say something and you go, okay, I
That-
just said that sounds okay.
Yeah.
I know I just said that, but that does sound crazy now that I say it
Yeah.
out loud, and I got to think about it this
But it
way.
gives you a different way to think about it. then.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
It's
at
a whole
least
different platform. It's like
Yeah.
You speak
Oh, I
it,
s-
you hear it, and you
Yeah.
think it instead
Yeah.
of just
and you
thinking it.
say you said it to somebody who maybe can't mentally comprehend that at the moment.
Yeah.
You could be talking to somebody who has them voices in their head too,
Yeah.
who's going through something, and you say something to them, and they're dumbstruck,
Yeah.
and they're just sitting there staring at you, and you think that like, oh, I mean, maybe I didn't mean it, but at the end of the day, you're like, holy fuck, I
Yeah.
said it
Right.
out loud, and it's a whole different fucking meaning now. Where
Yeah.
like speaking, and I speak, and I say this personally, where I have done this. I have been through hell in my life. I've lived hell in my life. I've seen it. I've been up close and personal to it. You know what I mean? I've fucking watched friends die. I've seen the worst of the worst in my life. And speaking about it was the only thing that made sense to me. And I will not lie to you guys. I have not spoken what I completely need to speak in my life, but I've spoken enough where it's, as a kid who was just suffocated by hiding and closure, like just not wanting to speak because of what I grew up around. In those moments, I've had slight moments with some of our best friends, people who I've shared shit with that I didn't want to. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe I was emotional. But after every one of those moments, I was like a little bit of clarity where it was like,
Yeah.
even speaking it to that person who maybe doesn't even understand it, I understand it more now. I said it out loud. And now it's maybe even more fucking crazy than I thought about it was. But now I get it because I said it. I fucking let it out.
Mhm.
And that has always been the biggest turntable in my life, is just getting it off the fucking chest, dude.
Yeah.
As scary as
it's
shitty as it is.
It's definitely the first step.
It is.
You know.
And there's a next step, and it's up for all of us to figure out what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the conversation we had last week of figuring out a solution is endless. There's no solution right now.
It differs from person to person.
Exactly,
you know?
dude. And
Well, and that's what I wish these athletes and people of influence would speak about, is that I wish an athlete would say, hey, I'm going through some mental health issues, but mine are different than someone at like other people who are living a much different life than me. And I fully recognize that, but for me personally, like, I need to step away from X, Y, and Z, and hopefully I'm going to help people who don't have the means that I do.
But I think you put so much on athletes, Max.
No,
I
I'm
think
not
you
saying,
do.
but they're just the ones that are in the forefront of mental health right
But
now.
I understand that.
But who else is talking about mental health? It's athletes talking about mental health.
But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're talking about athletes.
But that's
they're
who we-
athletes, but they're humans. Like,
But
how do you
I know,
expect just
but
because they
that's
have
who we
money
talked
doesn't mean
about-
they have to? And that's where I'm coming back on. Is like, that's why this
So
whole
who is there to speak for the little person? Nobody.
But who's the little person? Just because you're an athlete, you make millions of dollars
No, but
makes you
that-
the bigger
but-
person.
But they don't speak about people who don't make millions of dollars.
But it doesn't matter if you make millions of dollars or not. If you suffer with some sort of mental illness, it doesn't make you bigger than the other person just because you have more money in your pocket.
I'm not saying it makes you bigger.
But
I'm saying wouldn't it be nice if they could also help?
But what if they don't have the help? You look at Richard Sherman. Look at Richard Sherman right now. He just drove into a house because he had
Yeah, maybe there
2
should be
bottles
some
of
athletes
fucking
out
booze.
there. Maybe there should be some athletes helping other athletes.
Okay, but
I'm not
maybe there
saying
should be
it's-
humans helping other humans.
And there are, but that's the only thing in the news right now is athletes talking about it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's great, and I said it. I'm not saying that it's not good.
So is it
All
not-
I'm saying is that like it would be nice if it's always just so far in the media or in our face about mental health is just athletes.
So is it
Who
the-
else has
is it-
spoken out about it?
So is it the athletes or the media?
No one. Exactly.
Is it the athletes or the medias?
But if you're
But if it is
but how
the
hard
athletes,
is how
then-
hard is it to say, hey, we need to get some help for people who don't have the means that I do? I'm not even they could just say
I
like
guess that's kind of like, I mean, like, they can't do anything directly for them, but I guess they're saying like the thing that they're doing, you know, by coming out and saying like, hey, I have problems, is like making everybody else feel okay to come out, like also come out and say I also have problems.
Yeah.
That's
No,
like what they're.
and that's exactly what I said last week when I heard Dan Patrick talk about how he was going through mental health problems, and I said it's crazy because in my eyes he has the greatest job in the world,
Yeah.
and he's coming out saying how it's hard for him to get out of bed sometimes in the morning. Whereas like in my head I'm like, if I had the sports talk radio show that guy had, speaking to millions of people every day and just giving opinions about I would be jumping out of bed. But to
Yeah.
him, it's he struggles getting out of bed. So like
Yeah.
I guess like that could be to me a person talking out against it, but again, it's only sports. That's the only places I hear it being talked about. Like I don't. So when I
Yeah.
say because athletes right now have such a big voice in it. That's why. Because
Okay. I see where it
it's
comes
not
from.
it's not I'm dissing them. I want them to realize that like they have such a loud voice right now.
platform.
They have it's so loud and big, and it's not their fault. It's not like they got up and said, "Oh, like I want this," but then decided, "No, actually I don't." Like no, they just play a game and they're really good at it. And it would be awesome if they could be like, "Look, right now it looks like we're the only ones talking about mental health. So it would be cool if also like other lesser people could get some help too." I don't know how they would. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is
I
they
guess-
have the
I guess
loudest voice.
I guess that's the struggle point. It was like, I mean, yeah, they have a lot of money, but like, what do they do? I guess
Well, no,
solutions. I
but-
guess we're talking about
so
like
I
solutions.
guess
but, like,
I guess here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't even look at it in terms of money, and more in terms of just like overall healthcare, in terms of total healthcare. Like,
yeah,
if you're an athlete, just going off of what we've been talking about, like you can basically go see any doctor. There's some minor hoops you might have to jump through, but it's not like. And I'm talking about the elite of the elite,
yeah.
obviously. But that's all I mean is that I just would like some acknowledgement of like, yeah, hey, like I don't have to find a health provider or someone in my network. I can just go to my team doctor and be like, or go to. It's different, and all I wish is that there would also be a voice for people who like.
Yeah. No, I
feel it.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, because I mean, I think that's the whole point of the research we were doing for this week is finding things for people who don't have those resources. It's like,
But it's also hard
thi-
for
you know.
us because we're probably more lucky and privileged than the people we're thinking about.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's part of the research that
what kind of solutions did what kind of solutions did we come up with? You know, like at the end of the day, you're dealing with mental health issues. You get the help you can, and I mean, and I completely agree with you. Where like people at a platform should be able to set up people at a lower platform to be able to cope, and come up with solutions. But
it's tough.
Where do you maybe those higher up people aren't getting what they have to get. Maybe we're not getting what we have to
But
get.
wouldn't
so
that
how
be
does it
even?
trickle down?
Wouldn't that be even more for them to say? Like that should be even more put out there. If like, say someone in that type of platform isn't getting the help they need, they like that should be out in the front. They should be saying like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and I can't even get the help I need. So we got to improve somewhere. And I'm not saying people should have solutions. I don't know solutions, but to put the problems in front of people
and make him challenge people.
Yeah, exactly. And say, look, I wish.
I'm not disagreeing with
Exactly.
you. I'm trying to challenge our brains right now.
No,
because I know what you're coming at. And I agree. Where like, we talked about school programs, and work programs, but some people don't go to school.
Right.
Some people can't work. Or some people work, but they don't have the opportunity or the fucking time to worry about their mental health.
Sure.
How do they deal with it?
Right.
How does a mother of 5 who has no father help, or how does a father of 5 who has no mother help supposed to put their time aside to worry about their mental health? How do we do that? Mm-hmm. Right? And I think we're at the level where we're not so pedestaled at all that we can think about that.
Right, yeah.
We're not, and I think you are completely right where you say, athletes who do get paid millions and millions of dollars maybe don't think about that. Maybe they do, but there's no way in fucking hell they can think about it like we do. Or the people who are fucking below us and the people who are below the people below us can think about it. How do you deal with mental health personally? How do you deal with mental health without the help of somebody who's professional?
And the one of the other things that made me, what you were just saying, made me think of like a lot of these athletes that we're talking about come from families that haven't had good opportunities, that haven't just been able to go get some mental health. So they just like, they see it in their family. They deal with it the way their parents, siblings dealt with it, and they carry it on. And so like I think I got too fixated or just on the whole athlete thing. I think it was just because it was out so much.
Yeah.
But it's more of just, okay, it's out in the public now. It doesn't matter who put it out there. But it's out there, and we need to start thinking about ways to help people, the families, the situations you were talking about, where there's just no time. There's like you're just doing the best you can to hold on and survive.
And I think the only tip that I can say as a human being that I've grabbed onto the most I can is to talk to anybody you have. Any human you have, whether it's a parent, whether it's a mother or a father, aunt and uncle, a friend, a colleague, a classmate, anybody you have.
A random guy that you go on a walk with.
A
They
random
might
guy
pay
you go on a
$10
walk
a
with.
month.
Talk to somebody. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
is talking. In the reality in my life, and that's the truth, man. Like, to not be ashamed of what you're going through, because at the end of the day, if you're depressed to the point where you want to fucking kill yourself, dude, that's not something to be ashamed about. That's life.
Yeah.
Or even being depressed where you don't want to get out of bed and you feel like a piece of shit. Like, that's also
It's okay.
okay. Like, you know you're not going to kill yourself, but you're also like, fuck life, I'm not getting out of this bed.
Exactly.
That's also
And that's
debilitating way to
and
think.
today I listened to that's another TED Talk I listened to. I don't think I shared. Was this guy, and he was talking about how he was just paralyzed by depression, just brought down because he never talked to he didn't talk to anybody about it. And one day he woke up in his bed and was so depressed that he for the first time in his life thought about suicide, to the sense where he's like, I'm so depressed, he said, I don't know what happiness is anymore. I don't know what it feels like. What's the point? You know? And he said that he called his mom that morning. And he said it wasn't to say hello and ask her. He said, I wanted to call my mom so I could hear her voice one last time, because I was certain that day was it for me. And he said his mom talked to him. And his mom was, whether it's your mom or your friend or whoever it is, but in that circumstance, it was his mom who heard the fucking depth in the pain in his voice. And he was saying what he had to say to his mom, and his mom said, I'm going to come over today. I'm going to come and spend time with you. I love you. I want to be with you. Like, and his mom heard that. And this guy was talking about how he went from just the depth and the darkness, and the call that he gave his mom was a goodbye call, basically. You know, just a call to say, he said he wanted to call his mom to hear the voice one last time. And him calling his mom and just hearing that, the love and the support was, it changed him. And it sounds super cliche and bullshit. You know what I mean? But that's the strength of talking to somebody, whether you know them, whether it's a guy on the fucking bus, your roommate, your mother, your brother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin. There is a person out there who, if you give them the depth of your fucking emotion, that they will say, I hear it, man. Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the fucking deep end. That's the scariest part to jump into. Where it's, I think for a lot of people, including myself, is I never wanted to hear somebody say, like, I hear what the fuck you're going through. I wanted to hear it so bad, but I didn't want to hear it. But when you hear it, it's like, you know, what do you fuck? You don't know what I'm going through. Maybe I don't know what you're going through, but I care about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get past it. And it's that fucking deep end, that uncomfortable out of the box experience of somebody else giving a fuck. And a lot of people give a fuck more than you think if you just give them it. You know what I mean? And I mean that it's happened in my life through stories I've heard, and I've been, you know, too late with it at some points. You know, like in my life, I've been several points with a couple of my friends where I was too late and lost them.
Right.
But the word of mouth is so much stronger than a lot of people can imagine. And just talking to anybody, whether it's a random Joe Schmo, whoever, like, people give a fuck. People are shitty, but people do give a fuck. And if you open your mouth, like it's a whole new world. So I think that's the cheapest way of therapy we have is just to talk
Yeah.
to whoever.
And well, to kind of I guess not sum up the mental health talk. But
No,
talk
sum it
about,
up.
Talk about.
Please sum it up.
But to talk about like the little bit of research that I did on the way here was I was just looking for resources that people could look into to talk about it basically, and I'll kind of go with it. It kind of goes down the line. Is like, so the first one is like if you have health insurance or some kind of, you know, whether it's Medicaid, whatever, there's resources out there that, you know, you just kind of got to look into, and there's something out there for you to help you. There's people that are out there to talk to you know, about it, like you were saying, you know. But I'll kind of go through them. So like the first one is like look into your healthcare provider. Look into, because most of them have, not all of them, but most of them have providers that have resources to therapists, you know, people to talk to, counselors, whatever. But kind of going down the line, I read something interesting about private therapists who, you know, like their own kind of business or whatever, have like a sliding scale as far as pay. You know, I mean, it can be expensive. You know, money is the hardest part about it. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
you got to reach out first, but money is also a big factor in getting help. So there are a lot of private therapists who will work with you on the whole money situation, the whole, you know, you know, it talks about how a lot of these people will work with you on your finances. Like, we will work on the pay rate based on what you can afford. There's also, like I said, Medicaid. If you know, are lower income, qualify for Medicaid, there is free therapy options for you through that. Also, let's see, this one says local training institutes may provide free sessions for you. So like if you're in school, through your work, look into those if you need them, because a lot of places provide them for you. But, you know, the first step is looking through it. Again, there's a lot of university hospitals, you know, so even if you're not going to school, there's a lot of places that universities that have students training to be psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, things like that. They want people to come in for their students to I don't want to say practice, because that
No,
sounds bad,
practice.
But
practice, but like also get experience, because like this
Right.
is what they're training for. This is what they are trained for.
right.
And like this is what they are here for. I it's like the same thing with like dental students. You know,
Yeah.
you can sign up for like dental work at a lower charge because they need people to work on. You know, like they need
Yeah.
people. So that's a viable option as well. I know there's a wide variety of other online resources. I know people who do online therapy sessions like that. There are some free, some of them cost some money, but it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, there's one like BetterHelp. It's
Mhm.
all like podcasts advertise it. Like,
Yep.
But it's like an online therapy,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to like go
Yeah.
into an actual like not, in
Fac-
office building
facility.
facility.
You don't have to
Yeah.
leave. Like,
Yeah, you don't have to leave
facility.
your home.
if you
can
have troubles getting around, or maybe you can't
Yeah.
leave, or things
do
like
it
that.
right from your phone.
And that could be a person. That could be a person like a mother or father who is
exactly.
Yeah.
too consumed
Don't-
in their
yeah,
family
it's got-
life.
Exactly.
Got 20 minutes, and they just need to like quick go on their phone, talk to someone for 15 minutes.
Let some shit out.
Yeah, let some shit out,
Yep.
and do that a couple times.
Yep. There,
Uh,
and even if you don't want to talk to people, there are also like, not we all, smartphones, computers, whatever. There's things that you don't have to talk to people directly. You can text them, chat with them,
chats, live chats.
things like that. Again, there are a lot of mental health clinics around cities. Obviously not available to everybody, but also worth looking around, because there are free clinics that you can go to, or whatever, things that you can look into. And of course, the last one, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. coming down to it. You know, whether you're on the brink of suicide,
Absolutely.
whether you know, not on the verge of suicide, but like need somebody to talk to.
It's not. You don't have to be to that point.
You don't have to be to that point. No.
And
but
yeah, and
but
if you
they're
are,
out there. That's what those people are there for.
Right.
They are there to talk to you. That is their job. That is the job they are doing, want to do. You know, so they are there for you to talk to you about your problems.
Thank you,
So,
Seamus. That
yeah.
was.
And of course, their number 1-800-273-8255.
Hell yeah.
So
Hey,
Beautiful.
and for anybody listening who is, and I'll call it a normal state of mind, and everybody should know and be comfortable with knowing that whether you are deeply depressed or full of anxiety, have suicidal thoughts, as deep as it gets, it's normal.
it's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to share that you're not okay.
Mhm.
It's a lot of people, and I will say, all of people, everybody, is sad and depressed, whether it's at a different level than you or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to share the way you feel. And it's important to feel the way you feel. And most importantly, if anybody listens to this podcast that doesn't have anybody to talk to, you have 3 people who give a shit every fucking day,
Yep.
True.
who feel the same ways you have felt. Life's a fucking mess. In a beautiful way. I love life, but I fucking hate it. And I will continue to blossom and fight through it to help any human being who has felt the way I've felt, or to communicate with any human being who has been through what I've been through. You know, like it's normal. It's and I appreciate that part of what the world is coming to, where it's becoming slightly more okay to be not okay. And I think that's something we should all push for, to let everybody know that this world's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. It's very fucked up. But it's not just fucked up in your life. It's fucked up in everybody's life. And everybody needs an ear. And everybody deserves an ear.
True.
And just talk about it, man.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our mental health
Yeah.
talk for the week.
Oh, man. I bet
That was Hold Us Accountable 37 mental health talk. We got into it. We talked deep. We talked long.
Yes,
Broke
sir.
it down.
It's okay to
Got
not be
into
okay,
it.
ladies and gentlemen.
It is okay to not be okay.
Carl might not be okay after we do Carl versus the dictionary. That's what's coming up next. He might need to talk to someone after we
ladies
after
and
he tries
gentlemen.
to spell the word we got coming up for him.
Googly,
All jokes-
googly, googly.
All jokes aside, mental health is very important. Talk to someone if that's all you do,
Yeah.
and
And we're here for you.
we're here for you. If
Well,
that's
that-
if we're all you got, talk to us.
Yeah.
But
I probably can't
Seriously.
spell out your problems, but
he'll give it
I'll
a shot.
talk to him
yeah,
about it.
he'll talk to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's episode 37. Mental health. Talk. I'm going to try and spell some goddamn words. Let's get jiggy with it.
Let's do it. All right. Okay, now Carl.
Yeah.
Okay, now Carl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you spell a word.
Oh, fudge.
I'm gonna have you spell a word.
I'm not good with the G's. We on G?
We are on G. I have to hide my screen here. Oh wait, actually no. I have it on my phone. Okay, here we go. Okay.
11:30.
Yeah, we'll get through this quick. I have the word pulled up here.
All right.
It is.
Khunmas. And then done. Got to ride to work, so we're good.
It is. All right, here we go. All right,
damn
here
it.
we go. Here we go. Carl versus the Dictionary, episode 37. We're on to the G's. Let's see. Last week, Carl's word was ferocious,
Ferocious.
and he spelled it fertodious or some
No.
crazy shit.
Yeah, I did.
He put a T in there somewhere. I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to find. Here it is. All right. All right, Carl. This week, your word is. No using Google. Put your phone down.
I'm texting my coworker to see if I can get it right.
No.
It's done.
You're going to need it after this word. Your word is. Gargantuan.
Ooh.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
I like this one. I like this one.
It doesn't start with a J.
GAR. Fuck, man.
You're off to a good start. I'll put it that way.
GRG.
Let me show the camera quick. I don't even know if they could see it, but all right. So you
Dude, I
you
have
started
no
GAR.
GARG. Garg. Do you know how to spell this one?
I do.
Gargantuan.
You guys both do.
Well, I only know because I'm looking at it. Otherwise, I wouldn't. know how to-
Garg. GARG.
Gargantuan.
GARGA. Gargan. Fuck.
You got this, buddy.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You GARGA. You're doing good right
You're
now.
doing great.
Man. Like UN. Gan.
All right. Hold on.
Gan.
You had GARGA.
GA.
Okay, gargantuan.
Gan.
Gargantuan.
GARGATION.
I
Leo
mean-
Chan. I don't fucking know. I'm so far out of that word.
So far out. Of,
I'm so
all right,
fucking
I'm gonna spell it up on the.
gargantuanly
I'm
smaller
gonna
than that
spell
word.
it up. Oh wait, actually.
Okay.
All right,
Garg.
Seamus.
All right.
Seamus.
All right.
Spell it.
Spell it out.
GARGANTUAN.
Oh, Seamus. The crowd goes wild. Seamus. Carl sucks. He really sucks. Carl. No, I was just kidding. But Seamus did spell it right, and unfortunately,
Spell
Carl,
it again.
GARGANTUAN.
I put
Wait. You can go.
No.
All you have to do.
Sounds good.
No, wait. Remember, you have to just give us the definition. You go 1 for 2. That's 50%. You're in the MLB Hall of Fame.
My confidence.
Well, not in a sentence. Give me the definition. What does gargantuan
Gargantuan.
mean?
Like big,
Yep, there you go. You got it. You got it. You did it. You went.
I feel
You were.
big.
Yep, you did it. That's
My
it.
confidence is gargantuan.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There
yes,
you go.
sir.
Yay. You're 1 of 2.
Hey,
50%.
nah, I won't
Teamwork,
take
bud.
that one.
Teamwork.
Jimmy John's used to sell a sub called the Gargantuan. I was just giant. I just knew it was big. So never been a big
Hey,
speller.
man, like I said, 50%. If you bat 500 in the major leagues, you're in the goddamn Hall of Fame.
Mi pito is non-gargantuan.
Shit, that was
Yes,
Kärel
sir.
versus the dictionary, folks. Kärel honestly got a little bit closer than what I thought he would. I didn't think you'd get the N in there.
Good for me.
Wait, did he get I don't know if he did get the
Yeah,
N.
we did.
didn't-
Yes, I did.
I
Yep,
don't know
yep,
if he
got
did.
that.
Yep,
Yep,
he got
oh,
the
yeah, that
N,
was in
but
there.
he just spelled it Tios instead
Hey, it
of...
was very nice to be able to spell half that word right.
He did.
Seamus is a fucking gargantuan genius. Man.
Kärel versus the dictionary, episode 37. We got a joke of the week coming up.
Oh,
We get
yeah.
into a little joke of the week here. Oh, I had the
Yeah, I
joke of
think
the
you
week.
got the
That's
joke of the
right.
week.
I had the joke of the week. Hold on.
And then let's get the fuck out.
We'll do the joke of the week. We'll wrap it up with a little Packer talk. We got to talk a little Jordan Love, all
Yeah, we
right?
gotta talk a little bit.
We're going to talk a little Jordan Love.
So Maximilian
But
coming
first,
out with a joke of the week.
let's get to this joke of the week. Oh, no.
Man, I ain't gonna be to bed.
Oh,
till
wait,
like
here.
2. Fuck.
Nah, Packer talk won't be long. Won't be long.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be laying in bed watching Home Improvement.
All right. Joke of the week, episode 37. I think this is my first,
Oh, congrats.
maybe second.
This
I
is gonna be
might-
gargantuan.
Goddamn. Look at the big brains on Kärel. Look at the gargantuan brains on Kärel.
Look at me.
All right.
Look at me. La 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 la.
When do you kick a midget in the balls? When he is standing next to your girlfriend saying, her hair smells nice.
Man, I wish I was ready for that one. Boom.
Yeah, it's not a politically correct joke, folks.
Hey,
but,
think about that one. Think about that one, huh?
You can...
Thinking about it a little bit. I didn't get it at first, but I'm not as smart as Kärel, so.
You don't have
You're
quite
not
the
that
gargantuan
good.
brain.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's wrap it up here with, let's just do about 9 to 10 minutes of Packer talk, all right? Let's do a little Packer talk. Kärel's the ad man tonight.
I gotta get the new version of YouTube. Fuck! How about that Packer talk, boy?
How about them Packers? Let's get into it.
It's
Preseason
gonna be
game.
gargantuan!
All right. Go Pat, go.
Go
Jordan
Pack, go
Love
Pack, go!
was in the house.
Hey, not looking bad. Passer rating? 110?
110. I was in, man, I didn't even get to my Iowa trash talk today. I will have to save that for next week.
Yeah,
But I was in Iowa, so I could not watch the game.
I
was,
think Jordan Love went 11 for 17.
It sounded like he played pretty well. I watched a couple highlights. He looked, like a smooth passer.
He had a good, good over the middle deep ball to Sternberger.
Saw that.
Yeah, man.
He did throw it behind Sternberger a little bit. Would have liked to see the ball just a tad bit out front of him. But,
Yeah.
beggars can't be choosers.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
Beggars can't be choosers. He looked all right. Honestly, it did kind of look like a boring game. I'm not gonna lie. But what do you expect from the first preseason game?
Yeah.
Shamo,
Getting their toes wet.
What'd you think?
I was pretty drunk. I watched like.
Did
the
you
first...
did you even watch it? Dude? Did you watch as much as I did?
No, I
None of
didn't.
it. Okay.
I
Jordan
watched
Love-
like 2 passes. No.
All right.
Jordan Love had a
I tailgated.
How
for
was
it.
the tailgate?
Oh,
Hey,
fuck.
tailgate was a good time.
Tailgate was a good time. Was
I mean, more exciting probably than the game was.
Hey, I mean, Jordan Love went 122 yards, 12 for 17, 1 tutty, 110.4 passer
Hey,
rating.
that screen pass he threw was nice. He looked the defender off. He kind of like ducked into a little sidearm almost to Killen Hill. We did pronounce his name wrong last week. It's not.
It's killing.
It's like Kylan Hill.
Kylan Hill, yeah.
Kylan Hill, not Killen
But
Hill.
how do you rate? You know, I mean, how many young players are on special teams? Is that our special teams?
What?
Like what we see in the preseason, or is that just?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean third and fourth stringers. I mean,
I
guys,
just say I don't know how special teams work in the preseason. Do you let your players fly? Like, do you let all the starters start, or? I mean, our running game looked like shit.
No, you don't let. They didn't. I think they sat out 30 players.
All right, yeah. So like, I
who
mean,
was running? Who was running for us?
we had
AJ Dillon had 1 carry for 1 yard, and they were like, "All right, get the fuck out of there."
Yeah. I don't think Aaron
think-
Jones didn't play.
No,
None of our
no.
starting offensive linemen played. Like I
No.
think maybe Runyon played, maybe Lucas Patrick
and that's
had a
when
few
I said,
snaps.
I mean, preseason's for a reason. Like if we have shit, that's what you're there to see. You're there to make your roster,
Get your toes wet.
get your toes wet, and I mean, we don't really know until the first snap of the regular season. Honestly,
Oh, exactly, because the defensive and offensive coordinators aren't running their best stuff.
No.
They're not
Yeah.
going out there with their best defensive game plan, and the offensive coordinators aren't going out there trying to run their best offensive plays. They're like, all right, let's just get us through this game.
Yeah.
Let's see what if our backup players can do the basic plays.
And I'm sorry, you have Aaron Rodgers out there in any offense, it's going to be better. Because he's not just a quarterback. He's a guy who can audible. He's a guy who can read the defense. You know, it's like Jordan Love hasn't got that. It was his first opportunity.
So what did so Seamus doesn't sound like. Did you watch any of the highlights?
No.
Okay. Do you remember, like, when you first saw Love, do you remember, like, thinking, like, was it like, okay, I see it, or were you just like, I mean, I guess that's what he is?
It was more than I got. It was like he was on. He made throws that were good throws.
Yeah.
Good. And it was but at the same time, I mean, for me, it was. You know, it's a quarterback you're watching who has been training, hasn't played a game in probably 2 years.
Right.
Because of the COVID and everything. And so, like, him coming on, he looked good.
Okay.
He made passes. He was accurate.
Beautiful.
I mean, in certain situations, he wasn't an MVP quarterback. Like, you know, like
Right,
making audibles, reading the defense, setting up the offense in a successful way, I guess.
Sure.
You know, like he relied on the play calls.
Okay.
Obviously, like a guy like Rodgers is a guy who can go on the field and read the whole fucking scene. You know,
sure.
he's an offensive guy who can read the whole fucking defense. Like Luke Kuechly, who was a linebacker for the Panthers, he could come on the field and read the offense.
Right.
Any play you call, any audible you called, he could read it. Any play you audible to, it doesn't matter. He could call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same like Brady, I'm sure. You know, any
Oh man,
seasoned player.
So you're just gonna take away from Packer talk for just a quick second. I don't know. Preseason game was cool. Whatever it is, what is first preseason game? I had an idea. I had a thought. I think Tom Brady is the modern day Bart Starr. Where in terms he's the ultimate, or he was more so when he was with the Patriots, the ultimate extension of the head coach. The same way Bart Starr was the ultimate extension of Lombardi. Without Starr, I don't think there would be a Lombardi. I don't think Lombardi could get the players to buy in without Starr. And I don't think Belichick could get the players to buy in without Brady. Not the exact same. Obviously, I think Lombardi would get his point across
I won't
probably
fight
better
against that.
back then, just because it was more hard-nosed back then. But in terms of, like, Brady just being the ultimate, like, competitor and studier and game and hard worker, the same way as Belichick is, like, the ultimate hard worker and, like, competitor and, like, strategy guy.
I mean, as like a guy who's played football, like, you look at your leader it usually should be your quarterback.
Right.
Your leader it's not necessarily your coach. Your coach is your coach. Your leader is a guy who fucking runs right with you. You know,
right on the field with you.
yeah, and I see that a lot. And I fucking hated Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And now I can't.
It is what it is.
I can't hate Tom Brady, and the reason being is the presence he brings to a locker room.
Yeah,
the competitive notion to want to win and win now, and that's how he's viewed. You know, it's anybody you ask in a Tampa Bay locker room, any interview you've ever seen, we would not be the same without Tom Brady. Like he brings an energy where you watched. There was highlights during the preseason game where Tom Brady wasn't even playing, but the whole second half he was taking snaps with the rookie center.
Okay.
To get his calls on time, to get every little bit on time. Like
exactly.
You don't win games, you don't have leadership unless you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre or Peyton Manning or Bart Starr. You know, like these. Did I say it twice?
No.
But
You're
these
rolling.
these guys are coaches, but players and leaders are leaders. Like
exactly.
like Kelvin Johnson on the Lions. You know, like you're not fucking or Matthew Stafford. These are players you're not ever gonna win a game or even think about winning a game unless they're running your fucking locker room.
Right.
So definitely players are more important, I think, than coaches. But when you have a relationship like Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, I think we can all see at this point where it's like a kosher. You have that good head coach. It's like Arians and.
So.
What you got a smirk on your fucking face?
Well, no, because LaFleur's contract ends in 2022. So.
Oh, what LaFleur's does?
LaFleur's so he's got this year and next year on his contract. Technically.
And so does Rodgers.
And that's kind of what Rodgers has. So someone made the point like, hey, if I'm LaFleur, I'm saying I'm not re-signing an extension unless Rodgers is back. And so, like, if they get rid of Rodgers, LaFleur goes, okay, I'm out of here then. Bye-bye.
Yo, okay, you remember how I said before the show I had that thing about Greg Jennings?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Greg Jennings. Oh, yeah, it's even up on the screen. We can all see it.
Okay. So, Greg Jennings is on an interview with what's his name? A big talk host. Coward.
Big taco.
Colin Coward?
Might have been.
Coward.
But anyway, he came
something like
on and he said, so the Packers in 2018 were playing the 49ers. First game of the season.
Yep.
And it was Greg Jennings, like, last contract season. First game of the season. And I guess Greg Jennings was going up with some guy, made a play against him or whatever, and the guy said something like, hey, like, come and play with us, you know, like just how, and I guess Aaron Rodgers came up to the both of them and like patted Greg Jennings on the shoulder pads and was like, "Yeah, you should just go play with them." First game of the season.
I did hear that story.
And Greg Jennings was like, what? I've never heard this before. He was like, so that was the whole turn off of my whole Packer career. Is like Rodgers came up to me and told another player, like, yeah, you guys should go after this guy. You guys should get him next year. And Jennings was like, wait, I plan to play with you guys. And my starting MVP quarterback is telling other teams to just come take me.
Dude, I remember hearing that story.
I never heard that before.
I haven't either.
I can't remember how.
Because, like, the whole Jennings against the Packers thing was like, it was not a big deal, but it was like, Jennings was a hell of a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And then he didn't do shit after he left Green Bay.
Yeah, but that's a lot of either to Jordy.
Well,
Cobby didn't really do shit. Kinda, he did a little bit for the Raiders, but like.
But Jordy was hurt and he had bad knees.
True.
Like, I don't know what else he could have done.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But Jennings was like 28 when he left the Packers. He had like,
he was young. He was like in his youth. But like, what is?
I can't remember.
I don't know. Like,
So why? Do you know why he said that? Do you know why Rodgers said that?
It was like, I thought I remember Rodgers like saying something that like he was talking to that cornerback before, like he had been jabbering with that cornerback and Jennings like didn't know. So when Rodgers came up, he didn't really realize what the cornerback, he was just talking shit. Like, I can't remember I can't remember. I wish I could. But it was something along the lines of just miscommunication between, like, what Rodgers was trying to talk shit about and what Jennings heard in his head.
yeah, because it was on Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, and
Jennings straight up said, he was like, yeah, Rodgers just came up and said, like, yeah, you guys should take me. And he's like, my quarterback traded me off to a different team that day. He's like,
or like it was Rodgers was talking about himself. It was like, no, come get me or something. But like, it was something.
Yeah, that's not at all what Jennings
exactly.
said.
No,
not
and
at all.
I remember hearing that. I've heard
what do
that
you
story.
okay? What do you think about Rodgers' character? Okay, because and you know, for me as an NFL fan, I don't give a fuck. As long as you come and you show up, you win games. It's a business. You win games for me, I don't give a fuck what you do. I really don't. You treat the fans well, cool. But hearing things like that, where it's like, you can see the cowardness in Rodgers in a little bit. You can see the kind of the cockiness, which does right, like he deserves it in a sense, but like, I don't know how to feel about Rodgers all the time. I don't know whether to feel like, oh, this dude's a, like through and through leader. He's a good guy. Because half the time you hear like he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll never know.
And it doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's the tough part. It's like, it sucks when it sounds like he's not the greatest guy. But then,
like, he doesn't talk to his family. It's like, well, his family doesn't win the Packers Super Bowls. I don't really.
Or
give
maybe
a
his,
fuck,
or
to be
maybe
honest.
his,
like, I really don't.
or maybe
care.
his family are a bunch of assholes because they're the ones coming out complaining he doesn't talk to, instead of like keeping it in house. Maybe
Right?
Rodgers is like, why are you guys talking to magazines about this shit?
But at the same time, you look at Rodgers where it's like, oh man, it seems sometimes like you're just. Okay, I'm a Rodgers fan. I love Rodgers. I do, for the fact of I like him as a Packer. He seems to have fun. Everybody seems to have fun around him. And like when it comes to the outside drama, like I really don't care. I don't care about the outside. What your problem is with your family is your problem. I really don't give a fuck if you talk to your mom. You win a Super Bowl for us, fucking good for us.
Right.
But you get sucked into it sometimes. Where sometimes I'm like,
Well, because it's easy for another fan base to use it
Like,
as
it's-
ammo against you, and
like,
you want to
it's-
just be like, no, fuck, like,
his
I don't
brother was on
care.
The
Fuck off.
Bachelor.
Stay
and
over there.
His
Yeah.
brother was on The Bachelor and had a whole interview about how Rogers just shunned his family.
yeah,
And
maybe
it's like-
he's trying to win a Super Bowl guy, and you're too worried about being on a reality TV show.
Exactly,
Maybe,
and that's what I think about.
maybe if you tried as hard as football as Rogers does, as you do at being a reality TV star, you'd actually be like a backup quarterback. Sorry, you're just not as good as your brother is.
That's why I love fucking doing this with Matt. Because he is just a heartless motherfucker, dude. Like, but you're a realist, bro. You're a realist.
No, I don't know. I think Rogers is just as much of an asshole as everybody else is.
But do you agree with me in the sense where it's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm a Packer fan.
It's not my business.
Because, but I do believe in character.
Well, yeah.
Like, if
You-
you treat the players well,
you
how
want
do you feel about that?
You want a guy who's like, who just treats people well, and you can't control who or what people's views are in life.
Especially family, dude.
There's
Especially,
a whole
yeah.
lifetime of problems between every family.
don't-
Like, do you think Rodgers got to the NFL started as quarterback for the Green Bay Packers? Like, nah, I don't think I'm going to talk to my family anymore. Like, I'm the starter of the Green Bay.
Or
Packers.
like,
do you really think
Or like
that's
he
what
had to make
happened?
or like I'm sure there were days when they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this family thing," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna throw balls." Like, maybe that's been a thing in his life, and he just loves throwing footballs, and he just said, "No, I don't feel like doing a bullshit family
But do you-
barbecue right now."
Remember, like all the fucking shit Favre went through, like cheating on his wife who had cancer.
Yeah.
And like everybody always looked at Favre like, oh, he's a legend.
Yeah,
He's the best.
fucking legend.
yeah.
Like, you guys
gunslinger.
didn't realize he'd
The
been sending
51K
dick pics.
IPA.
He's been sending dick pics since his wife said breast cancer.
right.
I've loved him. I love him. But like,
well, the other
it's
thing,
personal life.
I also did he ever come out and deny it? I don't know.
I don't think he didn't ever. I don't think he ever came out and did anything
Anything?
about it. I think he was just got caught.
he just
I sent a dick with my Crocs on and shoot. I think he did one of these. Shoots my goots.
Shoots me.
I'm gonna go play for the Vikings. Shoots.
Hey, that
Hey, my dick's hot.
that dick would look real good in some Wranglers because they're real comfortable jeans.
Yeah. But hey, okay, all right. To end this Packer talk,
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on this. So Rodgers brings back Cobb. He's kind of getting a grip of a little bit of the head office.
Yeah.
Do you think he deserves that?
Did you-
That pull?
Did you see what him, Devontae, and Cobb all
Clay Matthews?
about Clay and Gutekunst is like, we're having no discussions to bring a 35-year-old broken down.
But why not? Why would you not bring broken down
I mean, no other there's a reason.
veteran? We need a middle linebacker.
I think we've got other guys who are much better than
Yeah.
Clay Matthews is at
I
this
agree.
point.
I do.
I
He's trying to just pull strings.
and that's what I just don't get it. Like that part, I fully get the Cobb thing. I'm glad they brought Cobb in. I do think it creates a weird situation at wide receiver that Gutekunst didn't anticipate at all. That he was like, "Fuck, I got to get rid of a guy I wanted to keep now." But at least we get Rodgers. But
Who do we get rid of today? Because we had to break down. We had to drop 3 more players after the backup punter.
oh yeah, and the Madison O lineman.
Oh,
John
we got
Dietzen.
Deaton.
Yeah,
we
we
didn't get rid of. We didn't get rid of
Van
Cole
Lannon's still on the team. I don't know. Maybe he got
Nice.
cut today. I don't know.
I hope not. Van Lannon. I played against that big fat fucker.
But no,
He's a big fat
what
fucker.
do I think? Hey, the Brewers won.
Go Brew Crew.
Hey, go Brooker. They're hot.
They are, dude. They're almost.
Hot.
I mean, they're like 6 games away. They're up. They're 24 games above 500. That's insane. But anyway, what do I think about it? Like, just in terms of his ability to to get Cobb on a team. Is that what you? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
guess,
curious.
like,
I forgot. I forgot what you asked. Is what I should have
too.
said. No, I don't think it's a bad thing just because it lets Rodgers feel like, all right, I have a little bit of pull here, and he deserves that. I am glad they didn't just go out and sign Clay Matthews because that would have been a bit of a weird. Oh, I'll just make an IG post with 2 other dudes and we'll get a guy in here. I think that would be a little extreme.
I'm on you with that. I'm with you with that.
I think, yeah, if
because Clay hasn't played like a couple of years, like 2 years.
and he got, yeah, I think he was with the Rams last year and then got hurt and then just hasn't played since. But no, I think Rodgers should be able to throw a little sway in there. And as
I think he's just kind of trying to test his boundaries. Like,
yeah.
hey, what about William Henderson? Bring him back. Dude. What about Ken?
Oh, there we go. Dude, 2005, Rodgers' first preseason year, he threw a pass to William Henderson. I was watching highlights because it was just on my feed
Was
or
that
something.
was that when Amon Green was turned 34?
No, that would have been later, I think. I don't know though. Maybe 2005. I don't know. All I remember seeing William Henderson catch a dump off from Rodgers, and I was just like, "Oh my god,
my god, dude,
fucking
back
A!
in
I got to
the
get a
day.
picture of that."
Hey,
But that's
we got the New York Jets coming into Todd. We got a joint practice coming up soon.
Zach Wilson's gonna get shut down.
Yep. So we got something to watch, and we had a hell of a talk today.
Oh
boys.
man,
I love a talk.
Hell of a talk.
sure did. We went
Episode
through it
37.
all. Episode 37. We had a beer of the week. We did a little weekly challenge update. We threw some bags around. We got our new weekly challenge, which is we're gonna clean up a park
Yep.
this week.
Keep working on our own weekly challenges.
Keep working on our own personal. Carl, you got to get some Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir.
Shamo, you're still gonna make it to the gym.
Yeah.
No vitamins for me. We had well, I can't guarantee that, but we Carl almost beat the dictionary. Seamus
A little bit of help.
definitely beat the dictionary.
Hey, thank you, bud.
Got you.
That was
Hey,
episode
shout out to
37.
everybody
Hell
for
yeah.
listening, man. Good times.
Good times.
Go Pack.
Carl needs a ride tomorrow. Woo!
There's thousands of other
Yes, I do.
podcasts that you could have settled for, but now you're just vibing with 2 goofy dudes from Wisconsin who like to discuss their problems and figure out ways to solve them and challenge the listeners to get up out of their comfort zone. Try some shit they ain't done before. This is Hold Us Accountable. Yeah, this is Hold Us Accountable. Yeah, this is Hold Us Accountable. This is Hold Us Accountable. This is Hold Us Accountable. Hold Us Accountable, yeah. Hold Us Accountable.